Emily, the people already have good questions for you. I've got a good base of questions on Twitter. If you'd like to send them at Travis Rogers, you can also call 877-710-3776. Have you been peeking at some of the questions?
I've seen some. I've been trying to prepare, so I'm not totally off guard because I want to give the best answer. I want to give the right answer, so I'm trying to,
I do
give
it the
my
other
ideas.
way. I don't look, and I have awful answers. It's a really good idea and game plan.
I tend to prep too much, and so I get a little nervous. That's why I did
Taylor is crazy. I saw he's got a sheet there. He has 7 questions already just written down, which is, I don't know.
I think the listeners have it taken care of, but
they've done a good job. And Emily, there are no right or wrong answers. They're Emily's answers. It's Ask Emily. If you say it, then that's what it is.
Yeah, I just need the most right answer because I don't want to be kicking myself later today being, shoot, I
driving
said
home
this.
in your car, I never should have answered that one like that.
My Mexican food combination still stands.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to have that situation.
Low, high. I don't know how to
killed it on the Chinese food, but the Mexican food, I was all over the place.
You were better with the Chinese one. The Mexican one is that's kind of the standard. We just want to avoid that. Like that's the one on Emily's mirror. The Mexican.
Yeah,
food
not beans and rice. I'm like, cool. I'll do beans, rice, and guac.
Some chips too, maybe.
Al, I just said no beans or rice.
I think everybody listening to that day kind of looks at you. I don't think Al's ever been to a Mexican restaurant.
I don't think I've ever ordered combos. I just get my burrito, my California burrito with my salsa, and leave me alone.
I think that's what it is. Pickleball. We are getting closer. So you guys are all set. Did you get Yates roped in for tomorrow?
Yates is roped in for tomorrow.
Okay, so Al,
I keep driving
Yates,
by after every show. The
Ron
pickleball courts.
And my twin brother
Burke.
Matt are going to play pickleball tomorrow. I am unavailable, but we're getting ready for our Pickleball Madness tournament coming up on March 18th, 10 to 4 at Mile Square Park in Fountain Valley. The Agape Pickleball Center. Reserve seating is available. You can register at ESPNLA.com. The event is open to the public, so if you're thinking you just want to come by, check it out, maybe have a beer, look at a little pickleball, maybe watch some basketball. We're going to have all sorts of TVs. You can do that. Come on out, 10 to 4, Mile Square Park in Fountain Valley. Thanks to Michelob Ultra, Bud Light Seltzer, and Pizza Hut. Like I mentioned, there's TVs to watch the game. There's pickleball demos and lessons. There's a place for the kids to hang out. There's a kids zone, beer garden, complimentary food and drinks. There's live DJ. There's entertainment, prizes, giveaways, 360 photo booth, and really, what more could you ask for, Al?
Well, if we're eliminated, everything starts at 10 a.m. We're not sure if by 10:37 we're out. We're not sure.
I think, look, if we have the opening match, that could absolutely
Is that
happen.
how quickly they can be played?
Oh,
so,
yeah.
First of all, we don't have like the formatics necessarily, right?
Yeah.
We don't know if it's like
you go to 11, right? That's
you play
what everybody
to 11,
was going
but do you
to.
do 2 out of 3 to 11, or is it just one match to 11? Because if it's just to 11, the match could conceivably be over, like Al said, in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
If it's 2 out of 3, probably a half an hour.
If we're out by 10:37, just using that time as an example.
It's a very specific time.
Yeah, I know. Do we then just go one-on-one half court against anybody that wants the smoke?
You're welcome to do whatever you'd like to do. You are. You can take your paddle and your.
Why is Sliwa doing drills on the half court?
You can go play as much pickleball as you want. I don't know if you were listening to when I was reading all of the extra things that are available to people when they come out to our event, but this one right here, this little line item on the rundown sleeve, beer garden. That's probably a better choice to. If you'd like to come and chat with me for whatever reason, that's probably a good place to start looking for me.
Start at the half court. If he's not there, go check the beer garden.
Yeah, look, if we're still alive, I won't be able to spend a ton of time in the beer garden. Unless, let's play this out a little bit further. Mm-hmm. Let's say we have our opening match, and let's say, surprise of surprises happens and we win. But let's say...
That ruins the whole game plan that we had.
We could be on ice for a half an hour while we're waiting to find out our next opponent, depending on the draw. You can't honestly expect me to hang out at a park with a beer garden for an hour and not have a beer or two.
I want you to lay down on your stomach if we win the first game,
and
then I'm stretching you out.
I'll bring one of those rollers, and you can roll it back and forth on me. You can give the little hip flexor stretches along the way.
I'm like, stop yelling. This is embarrassing.
Susan, we had the argument again last night.
Happen again?
About stretching. It just.
I love her. I love her 25-plus years of just keep pushing.
It was one of those. I was complaining about something, and I like something like, oh, my back is just. It's like I have like this low grade backache. It's not a big deal, but it's just a nuisance more than anything. And I said to her, this thing in my back. She goes, well, have you rolled? I'm like, are we really going to do this again? She goes, well, it would really help. I'm like, what
okay, so whose fault is it that you told her that your lower back is hurting?
Both
Because
of
I think
ours.
the moment you say that, you open it up for her.
What I was hoping for was, can I get you some Advil? Would maybe me rubbing on the, rub that out? Is that like, these are solutions that I was hoping for. Now, in 25 plus years of marriage, those have never been options in her realm. It's always, well, have you rolled it out? Have you stretched it?
Yeah.
I want drugs.
Did you already know, like, because you guys have been together for so long, you already knew how the whole thing was going to play out?
But
you were saying your lower back is hurting?
Yeah, you know what? You're right. You're right. I should have known better. I don't like that you had such
That's
a
funny.
concise point of view on that. But you're right. The second
funny.
I opened it, I should have known the end game of that conversation. That's my fault.
All right, you want to hear something funny from yesterday? Do you know what has started happening for postgame? A lot of these games are close.
Yeah.
Right? So a lot of these, the Warriors game was kind of coming down to the wire. The Minnesota Timberwolves was coming down the wire.
Last night
was coming down the wire. So I'm trying to milk as long as I can staying at crypto.
Okay.
I don't know if you ran into this because I can't remember when you were doing it. Were you
You
just
didn't
like,
play a lot of close games.
well, I haven't had a lot of close
Yeah.
games too, right? And then you
Yeah.
could say the last 2 years. When did you start coming back?
I was an end of the third quarter every time.
Okay, end of third quarter, you're walking over and you're coming.
Yeah.
So I'm usually typically, let's say 6 minutes left to go. There's that 6 minute a TV timeout that they call. I'm like, all right, I got plenty of time.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm milking it here. I'm like, I don't want to leave right now. It's
Yeah.
a 2-point game. The freaking crowd's going crazy here. I haven't
It's fun.
felt this environment
It's
in a
fun.
while.
Sure.
So yesterday, I think I waited till like 2 minutes left.
Ooh, that's kind of close.
It's very close. Like if they lose the game, John and Michael are basically saying, all right, Sliwa, post game coming up.
Yeah.
So-
And you might miss the part where they lose it if untrans. That's what my fear was always.
Yeah.
I didn't want to miss something important, so I would always leave because that quarter break you get a good 6-7 minutes to kind of get across.
So a couple plugs here. Spectrum, you got the app. You can watch it while you're
Okay.
coming across the street. That's pretty much what I'm doing. I'm literally look like one of those guys. If somebody's seen me, like, what is wrong with this guy? Stop. Are you really that into sports? I'm like, all right, well, I'm not going to explain. I have the post-game show to do. But I could watch it, or on the Lakers app, you could listen to it. So whichever one of them. So I'm doing my best to kind of keep track. But, bro, it's comical when I leave there. I'm basically fast walking like I'm in one of those, I don't even know what to call it.
Race
It is-
walkers?
Yes. And I'm just like going real quick. When I get down to the security guard, who, by the way, had the game on yesterday, respect to that. I'm like, what's the lead? He's like, 7. I hit the elevator button coming up. So I was fine. But that if that doesn't kind of explain that the vibe is changing a little bit, I know that's a small thing, but I think that's something where you were really enjoying what the vibe of the game was, that you are trying to milk every second before you come across the street.
It's noticeably different because it doesn't feel like something weird has to happen for them to win. They just need to play well to win.
Need role players to step up.
It doesn't feel like them winning is a surprise. That early in the season when they would win a game, especially, and maybe it's just a result of falling into a 2-10 hole, but it was like, okay, well, this is not a good team. It takes a while for that to wear off. They are a good team, and for the last 2 weeks, they've been one of the better teams, right? They're, like you said yesterday, you look at the last 10 in the standings, and they're one of the few teams that's on the right side of 500 in that situation. But they are in ninth place, but you listening to it last night, and you were in the building, so you have a different perspective than I did watching it on TV last night. You can tell by the tone in the announcers' voices. You could tell listening to Stan Van Gundy, who was doing the color last night. You can tell by the energy in the crowd when a big bucket would be made or a big stop would take place. It is a noticeable difference that here we are with 15, 16 games left to go, and the intensity, the heat has been turned up in these games. And maybe not just because they're finally playing really good basketball, but there's no time. They're either going to be in or out, and each one of these games takes on added significance.
Yeah, I don't know now because I think for me, I'd always looked at the standings and it was like, hey, can you get above the 10? And if you got above the 10, well, is there a new goal now?
Yeah, be 7 or 8.
Okay, so that's what I was just going to tell you. So now, all of a sudden, now you're looking at these games. Clippers have a game later tonight against Toronto. I've always been a Raptors fan. It has nothing to do with that they're playing the Clippers tonight. But if Clippers lose, now all of a sudden there's a half game separating the Lakers and the Clippers. I think it's a half game. It would be one game separating the Lakers and the Clippers. They still got to match up together a little bit later in the season. It kind of becomes fascinating where you're looking at all these other teams. You're staring at every one of these teams. Portland has a game at Boston. That's a tough game. I think the Thunder have a game at Phoenix. That's a tough game. So now you're trying to kind of think, okay, can you get a little separation? But the thing that you brought up about the Clippers, I mean, can you imagine if it's – I know you don't want it to be in the play-in tournament, but if that's what we got. You got a one-game playoff. Russ is on the other side. Hopefully Bron is back by then. You have one team that's going to walk out of this game representing Los Angeles, right? And whatever happens from there happens from there. You got actually real talent on both sides, but both teams have been disappointing. You got one team that since the All-Star break, the Clippers are going this way. Since the All-Star break or since the trade deadline, Lakers are going this way. Still a squad that's never faced each other in the playoffs. I know that doesn't count as a playoff matchup, but a play-in.
It's an elimination situation. It's not a playoff game, but it's an elimination situation, which is juicy.
It's like a March Madness game.
It's a one and done. If they, well, I mean, I guess theoretically, if they played the 7-8 matchup, the loser would still have a chance to advance.
Yeah.
But
if it was 8-9 or something,
it is interesting. I want to push back on one thing you said, that the winner of that situation, if it arises, would represent. The Lakers represent Los Angeles. The Clippers are a team that plays in Los Angeles. They're not representing Los Angeles.
All right, that's not the right way to put it then.
I knew that's not what I just wanted clarity on that. The Clippers could be from Stockton, and it would feel the same way, right? It's just they happen to be here. Whatever, put that aside. The Clippers have the Lakers number. What is it, Emily? 10 in a row?
Yeah, 10 in a row.
Can you edit that out?
But that's what's so scary. Like, right, if the Lakers and Clippers played tonight in an elimination game, I would feel really good about the Lakers' chances because they're playing well. They're hot. They've got momentum on their side. All of the things I just said are not true about the Clippers. The Clippers do not have momentum. The Clippers are not playing their best basketball. The Clippers have beaten the Lakers 10 times in a row. It is the proverbial bad matchup for them. We can tell you, is it a basketball matchup? Is it an energy? Is it just bad luck? Is it injury? What? 10 in a row is 10 in a row. There is not a ton of extenuating circumstances. If it's 2 or 5 or maybe even, it's like, okay, this guy was missing. It's 10 in a row.
But you know what the difference is with all those 10? Russ wasn't representing the Clippers. That could change now.
Look, I love that.
April 5th, by the way.
I love that.
Their third game before the end of the season, Lakers and Clippers will play their final matchup.
Let's say everybody's at full strength. Okay. The Clippers have all of their guys. The Lakers have all of their guys. It's a fair fight in the sense that like if the Clippers have Paul George and Kawhi and LeBron is down, well, obviously and the opposite is true. If the Lakers have all their guys and Kawhi is not playing, it tilts Lakers. Everybody's at their best. Do you like that matchup?
All right,
I really don't. I really don't.
No, I think that's. First of all, that's a perfect setup for it. I would actually feel really good about it just because of the way that you just said it. Everyone's healthy. The Lakers...
Not necessarily, because LeBron at best will be coming off of a relatively short rest.
You're right, at best.
Or I should say relatively short runway back.
For a play-in, right?
Yes.
No, I'd feel okay with it. Clippers... part of it has to do with the Lakers playing better basketball right now, these pieces looking better, and the other part has to do with it is the Clippers are one... collapse of the Memphis Grizzlies in the fourth quarter from being 0-6 since the All-Star break. That they also haven't, and everybody's been there.
Yeah.
So they also haven't kind of shown that that's a team that's clicking or anything like that.
Badly right now.
Yeah.
But that 10 in a row is 10 in a row.
It is.
And there is something about just matchup. There is something about I know I've got your number, and more importantly, you know I've got your number.
But you said something a little bit earlier about how the team is so much different. At least they haven't faced each other since that trade deadline, which, I think is a big difference.
I think we'll get a little bit more information on April 5th when they play each other. But, okay, again, LeBron may or may not be back by that point. Let's say it's 11. And now maybe you're going back at it again. At that point, it's the next week you'd be playing that play-in situation.
Yep.
Right? 11 in a row. I would pick the Lakers because I cannot pick against the Lakers in that situation.
But I get your hesitation.
I would not be running in like, we got this one.
Oh, no, heck no. By the way, I wouldn't be doing that against Minnesota. I wouldn't be doing that against...
No, but it's different. It's different because it's the Clips, because they're getting ready to move out of their parents' house and get their own building. They put the last piece of the roof up yesterday. You see that?
Oh, I saw Kawhi there with Ballmer.
Yeah, Russ was there. A good chunk of the team, if not the whole team, was there yesterday. And Ballmer was doing all his wild, crazy, fun Ballmers. I do too.
Love it so much.
He's a hard guy to root. Emily and I were talking about this morning. Ballmer does the thing that I don't know if we do. It's the billionaire you kind of like enjoy seeing act all goofy. Like billionaires are not super likable guys.
Are you a fan of Mark Cuban?
Yeah, but I don't like Cuban doesn't strike me as fun and goofy and bouncing all over the room like Ballmer does. Cuban, I would like to have dinner with Cuban, but I don't know if I'm necessarily on team Cuban. Like Ballmer is oddly likable.
Yeah, Ballmer, I think Cuban isn't as swinging of emotions. Like, you don't see him, like, rocking his knees back and forth when, I don't know, Luka has a pointer. So, like, I think that's what I like. But the photo that I sent you guys of them with their hard hats on literally looks like it's from Parks and Recreation. It's literally, it's so funny to me. I cannot get enough of Steve Ballmer.
Ballmer, when you're worth $82.8 billion, you can kind of do whatever you want. If you want to throw your...
But, I think that's what it is, though, Slee. I don't think there's nothing about his personality that seems artificial to me. That's just who... If he had $82 billion...
No, he was doing it... You're right. He was doing it in the Microsoft days, yeah.
Then he takes the Bezos route where he tries to fix his face and, like, all this other stuff that's a little different than Steve Ballmer. Probably hasn't done a lot in that direction, is authentically Steve Ballmer.
Yes.
And that's why he's likable.
Ballmer would be acting like this if he had 8,000 in the bank instead of 80 billion. Right? It's who he is. That's his personality.
Okay, we did it yesterday, so I got to walk you through the halftime toss.
Okay.
I got to walk you through that.
Okay. I
heard
it.
You like the
I heard it.
The play-by-play of it. So
we'll break it down.
Okay.
It's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 7.
They've won 30 of them.
Beasley quickly down the floor. He finds Davis. How about the athleticism right there? Grizzlies as well. Then a Schroeder in the corner. There's Davis with the board, and he puts it down. Called on Memphis.
Here's Anthony Davis getting to the glass in a battle with Jaren Jackson Jr.
Reeves at the controls. Reeves coming off a terrific game Sunday, and he finds Davis rolling to the basket. Excellent two-man game.
He told us before the game that he's had 3 key words that he's been really pushing on his team just before the All-Star break. Energy, effort, and urgency, all required, guys.
Gets the block right there.
And it seems to have energized the Lakers. I think their players looked at it like they have a chance now because of those trades. If they can hold the fort.
Have been hobbled in this third quarter, but they remain on the floor. Davis taking on Jackson, little turnaround. Unstoppable. Anthony Davis.
The one thing we didn't see him do was move laterally and have to defend. And with an ankle, that can be a big problem.
Davis running the floor, and he throws it down.
From the Lakers, we have not seen the Grizzlies double team yet.
Well, this time Tillman fronts him, and Davis still gets to the basket. He scores. The foul is on Jackson.
On this lob over the top, strong move by Davis.
Jackson with his 5 fouls, turns, quick shot, no good. Davis, Jackson close to fouling out right there. Davis taking it himself. He finds Hachimura, who lays it in.
He has been great tonight at both ends of the floor. Here, a tough rebound in traffic. Takes the ball coast to coast, dishes to Hachimura.
And now you might as well play it. Shot clock is at 5. Schroeder gets a step on Bade. Floater, no good. Davis right there. The offensive board and the putback.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.
On 710 ESPN, a celebration Wednesday as the Lakers are in the playoffs, the 9th seed as of right now. Coming up, though, at 10:45 this hour, a special edition of Ask Slee. On Wednesdays, we do the guest stars of Ask Slee. Today is Ask Emily. So get your questions in on Twitter right now. Ask Emily. Coming up this hour around 10:45 on Travis and Sliwa.
I ain't no joke. I used to let the mic smoke.
Probably won't come as a huge surprise to you, but a lot of TV Ask Emily's. Movies, TV, media, TV.
It's a perfect
some
answer
food.
and response.
It's her lane, right? We've all got our lanes. And yours is the TV movie critic
And
lane.
then pizza on the floor.
And pizza. We haven't talked about it. When was the last time you did that? It hasn't come up in quite some time.
I think I did it maybe 2 months ago when I ordered some DoorDash, but I haven't. I think I just haven't been eating in my room as much because I have such a big house and I actually like my roommates, so it's good
Maturity.
in my room. Yeah, I'm growing, guys.
Good.
It's 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Was it 7 years ago?
Exactly. It's not, Rome wasn't built in a
Takes
day.
time.
Baby
Takes time.
steps, right? Absolutely.
The funny thing is, can you see her, like I could see her taking the box and putting it down. You have hardwood floors, right?
Yep.
I could see her like putting it down. And then there's while you're still on the bed, just kind of sliding it. And it goes, shh. Just kind of slide it under the bed, and it stops wherever it
there's
stops.
a lot of dust under there.
Wherever it stops, and that's her pizza. It's waiting.
Is it just that you haven't had the opportunity, or have you had leftover pizza and put it somewhere other than on your bedroom floor?
I have had leftover pizza, and I have actually put it in the fridge, guys. And so, again, growth is coming because I think I've been bullied a little bit too much about it.
Well, see, look, I have a theory
Playful bullying.
that is unpopular. I think bullies serve a useful purpose in some cases.
Sometimes.
I understand that I don't want anybody to be like really bullied, like in a hurtful sort of way, but sometimes like, hey, come on, man.
I think it's because you are a bully, Trav.
Well, that might be the truth. That's certainly a possibility.
One of my favorite NBA lines. You guys remember Zach Randolph, right? Zach Randolph played at Memphis for a number of years. There's a clip, and it's not like he was mic'd up or anything like that. DeMarcus Cousins, when I think he was with Sacramento, would not stop running his mouth to Zach Randolph, and they get to the free throw line. And Zach Randolph looks DeMarcus Cousins directly in the eyes. He says, where I'm from, bullies get bullied. And DeMarcus said nothing after that. I'm like, damn, that was the best line that I've ever heard of the NBA.
You got to bully me back. One of my best buddies said that I remind him of every 80s movie bully ever.
That's pretty accurate. That's pretty good right there.
And I think the worst part about it is I don't mind. Like that, I feel like that's oddly a compliment.
DeMarcus was like, "What
they
just
usually
happened?"
have a good-looking girlfriend. They
Right.
usually have like the run of the
Now,
school.
They always get it in the end. They always
Right.
get their comeuppance, which I'll deal with that when it happens.
You don't want to be a loser.
No, you want to be on the right side of things. Don't forget, ESPNLA is taking over Yamava Resort and Casino's latest amenity, the 909 Sports Bar, for a tournament tip-off watch party. We'll be broadcasting live starting at 10 a.m. What's on at 10 a.m. on ESPN 710, Slee?
There's a really good network show that you could catch on the app.
Don't listen to Slee. It's Trav and Slee at 10 a.m. on Thursday, March 16th. You can come and hang out with all of us, me and Slee, Mason and Ireland, Sedano and Cap. All three shows will be there. Wall-to-wall LEDs, 150-plus screens, 32 craft beers. It is a perfect place to watch all the college basketball action. Plus, we'll be giving away prizes and autographed memorabilia. You need to be 21. Please gamble responsibly. Looking forward to that. That'll be
it's
fun
gonna
to
be
watch
fun.
a little. And by the way, rarely do we get live action when we're on the air.
Yep.
Those basketball games start just a shade after 9 o'clock, so we're going to have basketball all day long.
Last
What are you
time
talking about? We
had
got Wake
action.
Forest and Syracuse right now.
Oh,
on
it's tournament time.
ESPN.
You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You're right.
Did not know that. If you'd have told me this was ESPN Classics and it was on from 7 years ago, I would have believed you.
Where's
Don't say
Gerald
we don't
Wallace
get-
in that game?
Don't say we don't get live action.
Where's Chris Paul?
We had full World Cup, and we thought maybe, just maybe, we're going to air one of those.
No such luck.
No, it didn't happen.
No such luck. Let's try a quick phone call in Manhattan Beach. And Mark, you're on with Trav and Slee.
What's up, fellas? Yeah, was at the game last night. First off, the game, and then to Gasol. I like what I see out of this Laker team, man. And to me, the unsung hero of this team is Austin Reeves. I just love everything that guy does. He's the ultimate glue guy. He'll do whatever he needs to do, offense, defense. He plays every last play like it's the final play of his career. And I just think he brings that type of energy. And Vanderbilt, I like what he's done. Troy Brown can come up clutch late there. And Schrader's really turned it on. So barring we got underlying injuries to Anthony Davis, I really do feel they're probably going to get a 7th seed. Because look at the teams they're competing with. Minnesota, I know they beat the Lakers, but they're too up and down. The Clippers have been a complete shambles. Kawhi is just, I think he's checked out and more interested in not playing than he is.
Kawhi's been awesome
feeling
of
good
late.
about them. Yeah, and then as far as the ceremony,
Yeah.
tip of the cap, everybody was in their seat last night. It was just incredible to see. Pau Gasol, just a classy gentleman. I know how much Kobe meant to him and vice versa, and I just love everything they did. And well done to the Lakers because they did it perfectly. Everybody was in their seat, and I thought the speech he gave was outstanding. Just perfect night overall, and just tip of the cap, man, because Pau Gasol is one of the classiest guys I think I've ever met in all my years of following sports. So Laker Nation salutes him. Thanks for the time, guys.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. So what he just said right there, too, about this is where I think it scares me as a Laker fan when he said Austin Reeves has been great. And Dennis Schroeder has been stepping up, and Troy Brown Jr. and Jared Vanderbilt. You can only sustain that for so long.
Yeah.
So that's the part where reality is going to set in. Reality. Minnesota game was a perfect example. Austin Reeves struggled. Dennis Schroeder struggled. That's what role players do. They have a good night and then they have a bad night, or they're not consistent.
You just never know what you're going to get.
Never know what you're going to get. So I think that you should feel really good about where the Lakers are right now, but you should also be very cautious, because if you're depending on those types of players, you're not supposed to depend on those guys. You're supposed to depend on Bron, AD, D'Angelo Russell. I would put in that kind of that in between.
Yeah.
And then you got 2 or 3 guys that need to step up. The Lakers kind of blueprint right now, 4 or 5 guys have to step up with those role players for them to get a win.
The difference is now you have, if you need 2 of those role players to step up, they have 4 or 5 to choose from. Before, you needed 2 role players to step up, you had 1 to choose from. There was no winning combination. Now, if I just got to hit on a couple of these 4 or 5, I got a chance. You still need my stars to be my stars. I want to push back on something you're saying about how the Lakers have an advantage over the other teams that group of teams that are like kind of 6 through 13. Not really, right? They're still in that group. Until they have separated themselves more completely, I'm going to consider. Hey, this thing. Well, the Clippers
they would have been 13th if they lost yesterday. There is no separation.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And this I don't know if you're paying attention, Mark. Kawhi has been terrific recently. The Clippers have been struggling. It's not because Kawhi Leonard's not playing well. He's been great along the way. All of those teams could win. All of those teams could be out. I don't know if anybody is any better than anybody else. The Lakers finally did what they needed to do. They got out of the no man's land. Yeah. They're inside the line. Now you just got to stay there. They don't have to go win 8 of their next 10. They just got to continue to play the way that they have. If some of those role players regress a little bit, like you were saying, which is very likely to happen, that's fine. Anthony Davis can continue to play like this. Hopefully LeBron James comes back at one point. Hopefully D'Angelo Russell, when he returns sooner than later, knocking on wood, he's the guy that you hoped you acquired. They're in the mix, but they are not at the top of the mix. They're in the mix, and there's a big difference between
them.
Yeah,
and listen, D'Lo, I saw D'Lo yesterday, so pregame he was warming up. He was doing what he's doing. But he had missed 5 or 6 straight, whatever it is. If he doesn't play... If he plays on Friday against Toronto, he'll have had almost 3 weeks off from his ankle injury. Because remember, it's the first game they came back against Golden State Warriors. You're basically going to ask for D'Lo and AD to carry the Lakers with these role players the rest of the way. I think what's sustainable is what AD's doing. I think the role players, I'm not 100% sure what they're going to get every night, so hopefully D'Lo comes back sooner than later.
Ask Emily coming up next, plus we'll get into Al's toss to the Pau retirement ceremony that's coming up. It's Travis Lee, 710.
Oh, you're...
Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
Oh, you all right?
Yeah, I'm totally fine.
Okay.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
First fall of the day. Oh, it's on camera.
Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
Ask Emily. And Ask Emily is presented by our friends at Harrah's Resort SoCal. Find your funner state of mind with a visit to Harrah's Resort SoCal. Voted best resort in funner California. From dining to unwinding, you'll find fun around every corner. Learn more at harrahssocal.com. Let's do it. Time for Ask Emily.
Ready, Em?
Of course.
Have you been cheating? Have you been looking ahead? Have you
I've
read
looked
ahead
at a
on the
few,
test?
and I just wanted to be prepared if there's anything I needed to.
She just starts
look up.
answering before you even.
Yeah, I'm going to say the guy's name. She's like, I already got that
Oh, yeah,
one.
I got it.
Yeah. All right. John in Huntington Beach, go.
Okay, I don't know what this one is.
John in Huntington Beach says, if pizza did not exist, what would be your next choice of floor food? Hashtag Ask Emily.
Okay, so
Sushi.
I was gonna say it can't be anything like Chinese, like with that salt, because it already makes my stomach hurt. I already can't eat a lot of like Asian foods in large quantities because it makes my stomach hurt, and it's just kind of something I have to deal with. I would
What
say,
is it about that particular cuisine that upsets your stomach?
I have no idea. I think it just
MSG?
Probably.
Yeah.
It just I can't eat it in large quantities.
I get
It just
stronger
messes me up. I love
the more I
it.
eat
It tastes really great. I just can't muscle through it sometimes. So I would probably say
Chili?
like a burrito. A burrito would be fine on the floor as long as it's got like a plate underneath it. If it's wrapped in if it's wrapped in
you can't roll
tinfoil,
that thing under the.
if it's wrapped,
You wrap it tightly, you can.
if it's wrapped in tinfoil and it's on a plate, I think it's a fine on the bedside dish.
Al, I'm going to let you respond here, but that, honestly, I'm more okay with than the pizza, oddly.
No, I'm more okay with a pizza. Just because the pizza's in the box.
Well, this is wrapped in foil. It's not like the tortilla's on the ground.
I understand it, but a burrito under your bed's got a lot
It's
more.
not under the bed.
yeah.
It's on the floor. What's the matter with you?
Well, it's on the floor under the bed. That's what
No,
she's
it
done with her
wasn't
pizza.
Under
It's
the
never
bed
been
was
under my
never
bed.
a part of this. It's on the floor.
I told
Will
you
pay
slide.
attention,
I told
please?
you slide it under the bed. I would much rather go pizza than a burrito sitting on the sidelines.
Darb in the OC says, what is your Uber rating? Hashtag Ask Emily.
Okay, so I looked this up. So my Uber rating
look too.
is 4.75.
Okay.
So I think that the majority of times, maybe where my Uber rating may have tanked, I have not been the Uber caller. So
Well, then it wouldn't affect your rating.
and that's what I'm saying. That's why I think my rating is better than I thought it was. Because I think I have had times in which I have thrown up in an Uber, and that is not great.
No, that's
So
not.
that would tank my
a dock.
thing.
Where does it live? Where do I find it
You
online?
go to your you
in
go
the
to your
app.
app,
Yeah.
then you go to your profile.
Where's my profile?
I
All
don't
the way
know.
on the right
I can
side,
tell you
bottom
later.
right.
Oh, account. Okay, there
Yes.
you go. What did you say you are?
4.75.
What's yours, Slee?
What's yours?
I asked you first.
4.9.
You're the leader.
Okay.
Taylor?
I got to re-download Uber here.
4.87.
Give me a second.
It's because you sit in the front all the time.
4.87. But I'm still better than yours.
I know. I'm just saying.
You shouldn't bring a Ziploc bag or something, Emily, to protect
Hey,
the,
it's not my fault. I mean, it is my fault, but sometimes you.
How often are you using Uber once a month? I'm probably using it once a month.
Probably slightly more than that, but not much. Maybe
Yeah.
twice a month.
So I could have one bad review of my 4.9s going down
Yeah,
to a
but
3.7.
it's. I mean, I've used it hundreds of times if you add it up over the introduction of the.
I don't use it as much as I should.
Darb going back to back. It seems like a lot of millennials' cars are rather messy. Is Emily's car clean or messy?
Okay, so as it stands right now, it's pretty clean actually. So I have. I went to get my car cleaned, like the car wash, maybe a week ago, and I've been much better recently about, okay, if I have something in my car, I gotta throw it away. Like I don't leave an old Starbucks cup. I don't leave all these things. So I have something. I have my trunk is very messy though, but that's no
What's
one can
in
see
your
that.
trunk?
It's just like I have a beach chair, just in case, and it's a
Okay.
random beach thing. I have a beach towel.
A burrito.
I have my my bike helmet, my bike rack, in case, so I don't have to tote that back and forth. And then I have stuff to deal with the car, flat tire, and
Yeah, but that's
my
all normal
jack.
trunk stuff.
But it's just it's a very full trunk because I think the beach chair takes up a lot of space because I don't have a big trunk.
Inside of the car that's an important element.
I think it kind of lets you know what you're dealing with,
Mm-hmm.
generally speaking. I'm sure that but that's one of those. If the inside of the car is relatively tidy, you're probably a relatively tidy person. If the opposite is true, that's probably
Yeah, because
also
I think
true.
I just right out the gate think, okay, well, is your place all over the place? Right?
Right.
Are your things at home all over
Right.
the place? Is your room like this? But
When I was
don't
a
know
youth,
if
it
there
was a
should
lot
be
worse.
a connection, but I have that connection.
I think I do too, and I think you're right.
Am I-
I would be stunned stunned.
Car's dirty.
If your car were a pigsty, I'd be stunned.
It's not. The only thing I don't do enough of, and the inside could be cleaner, as in vacuumed and stuff like that.
But the fact that you're making that distinction tells me how clean the inside of your car is.
Yeah, no, it's relatively that it's
not
clean.
freshly vacuumed, I think, is a whole another standard of cleanliness. Animal Fry says, #Ask Emily, what was the last time you realized mid-argument that you were wrong? Did you admit it, or did you admit it, and did you pivot your argument slightly in order to save face?
I know this one.
So what do you think it is?
It's Pandora versus Spotify.
No. I think it probably was this Sunday. My friends come over and we watch The Last of Us, and we like take a little time and discuss it afterwards, what happened in the show, all good stuff. So it has to probably be something with I messed up some sort of like trivia note, or nothing really sticks out in my mind, but I'm sure it happens all the time with my friends. But I tend to either brush past it like it didn't happen and kind of gaslight them that I was right. Yeah, or I am like, oh, okay, I guess so, and then I kind of just go on. I'm not someone who accepts that I'm wrong a lot. So, yeah.
So once we get the pizza thing cleared up, we're going to work on that.
No, there's a therapist for that. That's just fine. I see her often. It's great.
It's just, it's one of those, this is a threshold of adulthood when you realize we're not right about everything, and sometimes when you're wrong, you're like,
it's okay, take the L.
Yeah, hadn't thought of it like that.
Right.
You might be right about that, and you keep it moving. Let's see here. Mennowood. Choice, Emily. Spend a weekend cat-sitting your roommate's cat, that one that meows loudly, or have me bartend at your dad's tiki bar.
Okay, so I think, honestly, these are not... One, I have cat set, my roommate's cat. She went away one weekend, and she just asked me, to feed the cat occasionally. She didn't ask me pet it. It's not like it's a dog where I have to go take it on walks and do other stuff. When you're cat sitting, all you got to do is feed the cat and make sure that the cat doesn't die. And so I was fine with that.
It's a low bar to clear.
But
cat's still alive. Welcome back.
But I think you'd be a fine bartender. I think that you're great, and I think you actually would get along with my dad kind of well. I think it's an interesting study because I think you'd find my dad interesting. So I think that both of these options would be good ideas. I think I'd rather have a drink and my dad's tiki bar than cat sit my roommate's cat.
I'd be a good bartender.
I think you would also walk away with a used car. You've been looking for a used car for a while. You got basically a lot of 14
manual,
cars there.
That's okay.
Yeah, okay.
Right. Yeah, I am of the generation where you had to know how to do that because about half the cars were. Do you know how to do that, Slee? Drive a manual transmission?
No, we talked about this one time. Everything I've had is
you're stuck. You're stranded in a desert island. You find a desert.
Yeah.
You find a new car, but it's a manual trade. You
start
keep
jogging.
Walking.
I just start jogging. Like, all right, we'll just keep going here. All right, I got one here. This is more on your TV show stuff. All right. Ramon says, you don't have to list 4 if you don't want to. Your 4 worst favorite TV shows and one you'd pick to watch if you had to. Basically,
worst favorite?
Yeah, I know it's a little weird. You don't like them, but you got to pick one that you're going to watch. Just what are a few of the shows that you didn't like but you would still watch?
Okay, that's an interesting question because I think that, again, I watch a lot of things. I think I would watch there's reality shows that fit into this, so I think I'd watch Love is Blind. I'd watch Too Hot to Handle, those Netflix reality shows like The Circle that I don't necessarily like, that I would watch for the drama. I always like having drama and gossip in my life that isn't my own, so that's kind of nice. But I think as far as a scripted show that I think is bad that I would also still watch, I would maybe have to go with
Jersey Shore.
That's not scripted. As far as we know, I think it'd have to be maybe Bones. I think Bones is kind of bad, but I got really into it and I loved it as a kid. I think it'd be a nostalgia thing for me, but I think that it kind of dipped later in the seasons. But I'm not a huge procedural person. I think I'd go back to it.
You know what I think we did? With Cobra Kai in the beginning, we're like, what are we watching? Why are we watching this? And then we kind of kept watching it. Now we were out
until
after
the point
season.
That we said this is terrible.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
A lot of people, when we did that, when we were going after Cobra Kai, there were a lot of Cobra Kai supporters. That kind of threw me off a little bit.
Yeah, it's not to relitigate that whole thing. That show sucked once it stopped being about Johnny and started being about Daniel. That's when the show completely went in a totally different direction. Biggie, your TV and all your streaming devices are down for multiple days. How do you spend your time?
All right, so I would probably read. I love to read. So I'm reading a book right now about the history of the Oscars. So I'm into that.
I swear, Emily, you're like the third or fourth person I've heard talk about that book in the last 3 days.
It's great.
Is it brand new? Is that why?
It's brand new. It came out like 2 weeks ago. I got it. Actually, I pre-ordered it. That's how excited I was about it.
That's so weird. Like, when was the last time you heard a book come up multiple times in conversation in a short period of time? You're the fourth person that's mentioned
by
that book.
Michael Schulman, and it's he's a former New Yorker writer. So I really like it. It's really cool study of the history, and it's really thick. So it'd take me a lot of time. I'd probably go on a bike ride, and I would probably also go to spin class. So all those things together would take up a lot of my time, and probably dick around on TikTok. Probably. Sorry, didn't mean to say that.
You look at no. I'm assuming that all devices are done. That you need to live in the real world, not the digital world. So TikTok's off the table.
Then I'd probably just go on walks and bike ride.
All right, one more here. It's from Kevin Ferruta. Kevin writes, in the dating world, how do the men of Los Angeles stack up against the lads of Virginia or the boys of Bristol?
It's a good question.
So I think that typically the men that I go after here in Los Angeles have tended to be a little flakier, have tended to be like a little more willing to ghost, a little more not attached, and that's fine. And they also tend to be a little more into themselves than anything else, which I'm not as into. But the thing is, when I was in Connecticut, it's essentially all people I worked with. So anybody I met in Connecticut was essentially an ESPN employee, because there wasn't a lot of industry there, and there's not a lot of other people to meet. So that was kind of because if you see them and you go on a bad date, you'll see them again.
Yeah, that's awkward.
And then Virginia, I think...
Meet at the Sports Center set.
Right, exactly. I mean, we would see each other in the calf all the time. Virginia, I think that it was just kind of... I liked the Virginia guys a lot, and it just kind of felt more like home, more like my personality. So I think if I had to rank them, it'd be Virginia, LA, Connecticut, but that's kind of where it sits.
How did Slee succeed throwing to the halftime ceremony? That's coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 7. All right, we're reminding you that Pickleball Madness, or March Pickleball Madness, is coming up on March 18th at Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. It's free for all non-participants, and there's a million things to do, Al.
All right, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Come out, hang out. We do these events every time we do them. We love having listeners there. We got our Pop-A-Shot Challenge. We got a beer garden going on. So we got everything going on. Don't forget that day.
Games for the kids. Bring the kids on out. It'll be a great time. You'll watch me and Al just wipe the floor with everybody because we're pickleball experts.
We'll be out in the first round.
It's Sliwa, your Wednesday. Lakers' huge win last night, and Tomorrow is the day that Sli's hitting the practice court, which was supposed to be with Travis, but Travis flaked. Of course, Pickleball Fever is here. Play the tape.
Yates is roped in for tomorrow.
Okay, so Al,
I keep driving
Yates,
by after every show. The
Ron
pickleball courts.
and my twin brother Matt are going to play pickleball tomorrow. I am unavailable, but we're getting ready.
Here's the thing. Matt Burke, who of course Travis said he looks like and compared his body type to yesterday on the show, keeps pushing for me to make the effort to Pasadena tomorrow, since him and I are teammates after all. And I'm thinking about it, but I'm just worried that Slee's going to punch me or attack me with his paddle or something.
Yeah, Chris, go to hell.
So we'll see. Travis and Sliwa continues your Wednesday right now.
Don't come out there, bro.
You gonna go at him?
Yeah, so intimidating.
I was looking at the picture that DeAndre, who until yesterday I thought was a pretty good guy, now he's dead to me.
Got the angle?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Well, here's the problem is you told him about the angle, and then Chris was here, and he's like, shut it down. Turn off your phone. You didn't get a chance to take another
That's exactly
photo.
what happened. But here's the deal.
Yeah.
We have these very bright lights in the studio here, which do not do somebody with thinning hair a lot of justice.
Mm-hmm.
They took it at a low angle.
Fine.
But see, you are owning it, right? You are a bald man that you just kind of lean into it. I haven't quite made the plunge yet. I probably should consider it.
No, you still got 7 more years left.
There's the lighting factor, which was not doing me justice. There was somehow it looked like I had just run a marathon when they took that picture. I'm like bright red. I don't know why my skin looked like just like a fire engine in that picture, and my eyes are basically closed.
You were mid-laugh, I think.
Is that what it was?
It looks like you were mid-laugh.
Yeah.
You set yourself up for this. Because
I
out the
stand
gate,
by it.
You said, basically, me and Burke are brothers. That's
Yes.
what you said right out the gate.
I'm like, I look like the slightly older brother.
And then I think it started leaning towards, okay, well, why don't you guys take a photo next to each other?
Yes.
And it's almost like the Susan thing yesterday where you're talking about your lower back. What did you think was going to happen? She was going to ask you about stretching.
No.
They were going to want
Wrong.
to take a photo. That wasn't a good photo.
That we would get a picture that would be demonstrably true of our physical similarities. This is just DeAndre being a bad photographer is all this is.
DeAndre stands by it, too.
They set me up to make me look as old and bald and gray and closed-eyed as it is.
Yep.
This was bad photography.
Do you know what
Matt
this
and I
could
are
be?
virtually indistinguishable.
You know what this could be? Now I kind of figured it out. Remember last week when we played, and I mentioned that Jorge and I were going after DeAndre on pickleball, right?
Oh,
It's the
payback.
first time he ever played. And it was the third game that I've played, the first day I've ever played. And Jorge and I just kind of went after DeAndre. AK was hitting it back. DeAndre was just learning. It's the first time he's ever played. And I think DeAndre he kind of just associated you and I together. And he said, oh, the chance when I get an opportunity to go after that show, I'm going to. And he took it in that picture.
Yeah, but I didn't
I
hit
know.
the pickleball at him.
Unbelievable. Travis and
Bad
Sliwa
deal.
show. He's like, I'm going after Trav.
Bad deal. Don't come in here, DeAndre. You and I, we're done. That's it. You and I are not friends anymore. I'm going to see him come. I'm going to turn around and walk the other way. I'm going to give him the look I gave the Chili's waitress.
What?
That's how we're going to do it moving forward. ESPNLA, that's us. ESPNLA. That's you, me, and everybody else here. Taking over Yamava Resort and Casino's latest amenity. It is the 909 Sports Bar, a tournament tip-off watch party. We'll be broadcasting there live starting 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Thursday, March 16th. That is a week from tomorrow. You can come on out and hang out with us. Me and Slee, Mason and Island, Sedano and Cap, we're all going to be out there. Wall-to-wall LEDs, 150-plus screens, 32 craft beers. It is a perfect place to watch the college basketball action. And, of course, it's the opening day of the tournament. Plus, we'll be giving away prizes and autographed memorabilia. You need to be 21, and please gamble responsibly.
Be a fun day.
Should be good.
Be a fun day. Packed day,
Should
too.
be good. Hopefully we get a little West Coast action, too, on some of those games. Like maybe a team from the West is out there playing in the East, and we get to see that.
You should do, when we're done at 1:12, you should stay and do a special college show at 7.
I might. I'll consider it.
Sound like you're perfect for that.
Yeah. What do you want to know?
Just hang out there.
Gauchos play Cal Poly, round 2 of the Big West Tournament tomorrow. Cal Poly, I think, won 3 games all season long. So I like our chances, and now I've whammied it. Yesterday was the Pau Gasol jersey retirement ceremony at halftime of the Laker game Pau did a great job. Very emotional moment for him. You could see the tears in his eyes. As
Pau was amazing. He was perfect.
He was great. And honestly, and I mean this as the ultimate compliment, not at all surprising. That he was good at that is not the least bit surprising.
There was no reading, and he hit everything you could possibly hit perfectly.
And the only thing that would have been a surprise is if he didn't.
Yeah,
right.
That's a good point.
The only thing that would have been a surprise is if he went like, that was weird. Mm-hmm. Not a chance. He was going to nail it, and he did. The toss to the ceremony yesterday was a topic on our show during Lit. That the Open presumably was going to be a little tighter, give you a little bit more time to kind of set up what was coming, where you're going to have to throw it down to the ceremony on the floor. And this is ultimately
I didn't have time for that.
What happened?
Now, here's Alan Sliwa.
All right, at the half, it's 57-56. Grizzlies up 1 on the Lakers. We are cutting right into celebrating Pau Gasol, about to get his jersey retired, and here's Lawrence
Turn your
Tanner.
attention to the Raptors.
So, a little bit of the two of you talking at the same time for, a second or two? Not a ton, but he's talking, you're talking, and you can hear neither one of you. How did you feel that went from your end?
So, first time I've heard it.
Okay.
But I knew in the moment. I think Amanda described it. I think Amanda described it perfectly yesterday. She's like, look, timing-wise, the timing is going to be a little bit all over the place. So initially it was, I'm going to get about a minute to set it up.
Okay.
So
you didn't.
When that thing started, and I don't know when Lawrence Tanner is going to go, right? Like I've no idea when he's going to go. I have kind of an idea. There's a clock ticking there. There's a clock that starts at 15 minutes. It starts clicking. They're supposed to start at 14.
Okay.
So by the time we got in, we're probably already at 14:30. And as soon as I set it up, I could already hear his voice. I'm like, shut the hell up and throw it to him. So how did it go? Definitely not perfect, but had to kind of play what I had.
I don't think that you guys going on top of each other was your fault. I think that it was really quick. From the time that it was handed off to you to the time that the ceremony had started was far less than the minute that you were told you were going to get.
Which I think is probably expected, that you just have no idea.
But there is a little bit of, I don't want to say dead air because there's music, but where no one's talking. I feel you could have moved your bit up just at the beginning. So you hear Mario introduce you.
Yep.
I want you to listen to the amount of time that goes by before you start talking.
Now, here's Alan Sliwa.
All right, at the half, it's 57-56. Grizzlies up
second
1.
and a half in there.
Mm-hmm. Almost 3 seconds. I counted it.
Is it 3 seconds?
Yeah.
Ooh, Al, 3 seconds. Let's listen again.
Figuring it out.
Now,
Figuring it out on the fly.
All right, at the half, it's 57.
But that's not uncommon. Like when I do halftime or I do postgame.
Yeah, but this was an uncommon occurrence. There was a ceremony at halftime.
I know, but that second and a half, 2 seconds, or whatever it is, that's not too uncommon to like. I don't really kind of shoot right out the gate. So that part I wasn't paying as much attention to. I was paying more attention to the.
Was that on your board op in your ear?
I handed off. What's that?
Was that on your board op in your ear?
No, it's on me.
That's on you. Okay.
That's on me.
Because
none of that stuff's on anybody else.
This was the snafu that I was trying to kind of tell you, that this was an unusual and uncommon set of circumstances, that this was not your typical halftime show. You just said, well, typically it was atypical. You were handing it off to someone else, so that you were not prepared for the atypical is what I was concerned about.
So when you had mentioned that, I actually, and I don't usually do this, but I was like, all right, I'm going to have something that when I throw it to Lawrence Tanner. So I'm going to put some accolades for Pau Gasol up there. What he accomplished. That was all out the gate. Like within 3 seconds, I'm like, no, it's over.
Done.
Throw it to him. So I threw it to him. So.
You should have done it in the 3 seconds when no one was saying anything.
I love that. That is you love that little moment right there.
It's long.
Now, here's Alan Sliwa.
I love the post.
All right, at the half, it's 57-56. Grizzlies
breaking
up
it
1
down.
on
It's like 2.5.
We are cutting right
breaking it down.
No, I counted it. It's 3.
Breaking it down.
But next season, Travis, I'm going to pull a bad one of yours in case there is any.
Good luck with that, Emily.
We're going to do this whole thing.
Pull whatever you want. That was that. I will say that was trying to figure out the timing of that. That was a little.
It's almost. impossible to get it exactly right because there is no stop talking at this point and I'll pick it up. It's you're trying to talk, you're trying to keep your eye on when it's time to go, and then by the time the guy starts to go, you're in the middle of a thought. To just stop is weird.
I didn't know he was going then. So that was the kind of, it was, all right, get it started, and then bam, got to throw it to Tanner right away.
So can I add just a little bit? So I don't think it was that bad. I actually thought it was pretty good because you did leave to it. I think the only thing that was the problem was the There's a long pause with an in it that you could have, if you didn't have that.
Why do you say
No. If you
Why do you say
You're trying to collect your thoughts.
Trying to figure out. It was like, almost like buying a second of like, is this happening right now? That was the purpose.
And we all do it.
So yeah, exactly. Everybody does it. It's natural. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just because of that moment, you went into explaining that as you're coming into Lawrence Tanter and going to the Pau ceremony, so you went over him because of it.
I did not know.
Had the or that, you would have gone right into it. It would have been clean.
I did not know we had. It wasn't clean. Definitely.
It would have been clean.
With that, without
it was
that,
fine.
I don't think it was clean.
I actually don't think it was bad.
I think anytime you're talking and that starts, that's not going to be clean. That wasn't clean.
And also,
I was talking when Tanter was talking. That's not clean.
Well, and also, Tanter shouldn't have been up. You should have thrown to whatever it happened to happen. If you didn't throw to Tanter, you could have just thrown to Pau. So whoever was putting up Tanter should not have had him up.
I'll take the L. I'll take the L.
I thought you were going to say, I'll take that.
But am I wrong, though, Travis? Like, it's you are doing the halftime show. You control that.
I agree with both of you. It wasn't clean because they were both talking at the same time, but I don't think it was your fault at all.
It's not your fault.
I don't think it was your fault. I don't.
I agree.
The only problem is you have absolutely no idea. Because we came back, Mario threw, and I literally said the score. And then it was like, oh my gosh, I'm already hearing
After
Tanner
you finished
talk.
your cup of coffee?
Which I didn't think was wrong to say the score. You're coming out of halftime saying the score is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the first thing you have to do.
Right.
This is the score, this is where we are, and then Lawrence Tanner
here's Lawrence Tanner
with
going to the Pau ceremony. And that's it.
That was the post game of we broke down. It was almost like a video session during a game, right? You know how they go.
Now, here's Alan Sliwa.
It's a great drop.
It is. It is. It's pretty great.
Wasn't clean.
I just need this part isolated.
Now, here's Alan Sliwa.
I just need the Mario portion of it. We can go from there. The Dodgers are doing something, Slee, that I don't like. I'll explain next. It's Trav and Slee, 710.
They've won 30 of them.
He's quickly down the floor. He finds Davis. Cut off the athleticism right there. Grizzlies as well. Then a Schroeder in the corner. There's Davis with the board, and he puts it down. Called on Memphis.
Here's Anthony Davis getting to the glass in a battle with Jaren Jackson Jr.
Reeves at the controls. Reeves coming off a terrific game Sunday, and he finds Davis rolling to the basket. Excellent two-man game.
He told us before the game that he's had 3 key words that he's been really pushing on his team just before the All-Star break. Energy, effort, and urgency, all required, guys.
Gets the block right there.
And it seems to have energized the Lakers. I think their players looked at it like they have a chance now because of those trades. If they can hold the fort.
Have been hobbled in this third quarter, but they remain on the floor. Davis taking on Jackson, little turnaround. Unstoppable. Anthony Davis.
The one thing we didn't see him do was move laterally and have to defend, and with an ankle, that can be a big problem.
Davis running the floor, and he throws it down.
From the Lakers, we have not seen the Grizzlies double team yet.
Well, this time Tillman fronts him, and Davis still gets to the basket. He scores. The foul is on Jackson.
On this lob over the top, strong move by Davis.
Jackson with his 5 fouls, turns, quick shot, no good. Davis, Jackson close to fouling out right there. Davis taking it himself. He finds Hachimura, who lays it in.
He has been great tonight at both ends of the floor. Here, a tough rebound in traffic. Takes the ball coast to coast, dishes to Hachimura.
And now you might as well play it. Shot clock is at 5. Schroeder gets a step on Bade. Floater, no good. Davis right there. The offensive board and the putback.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.
710 ESPN. Here's Alan Sliwa.
Just for the record, that was him doing that this time, not me. I did not hit the button right there.
I didn't hear anything.
Taylor's a bad guy. Maybe you're a bully, Taylor. I'm getting bullied for being
Bullies
a bully.
get bullied.
Here's Alan Sliwa.
Bullies get bullied.
He's a subtle
Bad guy
bully.
move. Actually, it's a really funny move. I like it, Taylor.
He is a subtle bully. He is a subtle bully. There's a edit, Emily, of me giving you a noogie on Twitter.
From Darren Pollock. So if anybody sees it, we're both tagged in it. It looks pretty great. It's a really old picture of me too.
Well, you're laughing, and
Yes.
it's. Did you have an older brother?
I have an older brother, 3 years.
Did he give you the noogies when you were a kid?
My older brother beat the hell out of me. All right. So he would give me typewriters. You know what a typewriter is?
No.
No. Okay. So he would pin me down and put his knees on my shoulders.
Okay.
And then tap my chest really hard and slap me across the face and go,
Wow.
"Ding!"
Oh God.
That was one
What's
thing.
your brother's
That's the
name?
greatest description of. It's exactly what it is.
It's a typewriter.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I really wish I would have known Brian Bergman when I was a younger man, so I could have given my brother Sean the typewriter. That would have been awesome.
So he did that one, and the other thing he would do is that, because he's 3 years older, so he was bigger than me for a long time. He would give me a dead arm in both arms and a dead leg in both legs, so you can't move.
Yeah.
Like you can't move your arms or your legs, so you're laying
Then
on
you
the
get
ground
one
like, well, this
coming
sucks.
back over a couple minutes, the other coming back.
Yeah,
That
it was
is
bad. Yeah, he beat the hell out of me.
Remember how we've said this before, where
until I got bigger.
I think we talked about, like, if somebody got in a fight and you're like, I got a lot of deep stuff, and you keep saying how you've pushed stuff down and it will come out.
Yeah.
Maybe that has something to do with your brother doing the typewriter.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely one. Because then when I actually get angry and it all comes out, I just think of the typewriter, and I just know I can
the
go
fuel.
crazy on something.
Right?
Yes,
Everybody
exactly.
needs the fuel. It all comes. You only had sisters, Al, so I would imagine you're the youngest of your family, right?
They
Yeah,
beat the hell
youngest.
out of you too.
Yeah. But sisters don't
No, they
do
don't.
typewriters and things like
That's
that.
not
and
true.
Noogies.
No, they don't do anything.
That's not true. My mom has 2 younger brothers, and
she would typewriter them?
She didn't do typewriters, but she would torture them.
Write
she
a
would,
term paper on their chest.
She would let the spit come down.
Your
and
mother
and pull
did that?
Yes, she talked about it all the time.
That's
Yeah.
aggressive.
I
my
beat up my
sister
she was a
does not
bully.
do that.
I beat up my older sister in terms of, like, she wasn't allowed to hit me. My parents didn't stop me from hitting her.
So you have 3 other sisters.
Yes.
Were you guys physical with each other?
Yeah. But
Yeah?
not to, like, that degree necessarily,
Yeah.
but, like, it's more verbal. But we would, when we were kids, we'd fight.
Yeah, I would fight with my brother.
Yeah. What
Until
did you do to him?
he beat me up once, and then that was it.
Is he younger?
Yeah, he's 2 years younger.
Yeah. That's all it takes. It takes
Yeah.
that one time for us.
I'm done with this. This isn't fun anymore.
Well, yeah. So my brother got back from. He's 3 years older, so he got back from college. I was playing football on the football team at the high school that I was at. I don't want to say the name. And
Now I kind of want to know.
no, it's fine. It's Calabasas High School. Yeah.
That didn't take
Jim
very.
Rome.
That
Yeah,
didn't-
home
that
of Jim
didn't-
Rome. Yeah.
That didn't take very long for you.
No,
to-
I know. I fell right into it.
I thought I was
share
going
the
to have
high
to twist his
school.
arm.
Yeah,
I
no,
thought I was
he's
going to have to give him a typewriter to get it out of him. I thought I was going to have to go sit on your chest.
No, so I was
You
playing
don't want to let it out,
football.
Calabasas.
So I was playing football, and so I was working out all the time during the time. And so he got back from college, and he definitely was not working out. He was drinking a lot of beer and other things. And I was bigger than him, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, I'm nice to you now. Stop trying to beat me up at that."
You should have gave it back to him. It was
I
all
did. I wanted to beat
mental,
the hell
psychological from that point.
Yeah.
Ramon writes, I have 2 older sisters that tormented me. The worst was when one pinned me down while the other one cracked raw eggs into my mouth.
That's awful.
Waste
All right.
eggs.
Yeah,
Look,
that was not happening at the Sliwa household.
We're doing
My
this the
sisters
rest
were
of
not
the day.
doing that.
At Travis Rogers, 877-710 ESPN. What did you do to your younger sibling? What did your older sibling do to you? Look, I had no
Typewriter
idea
was the real
that
one.
cracking raw eggs into your little brother's mouth was an option, much less from sisters. That's
So the
terrific.
first time I ever shaved was not me shaving.
He shaved you?
My brother pinned me down and shaved my upper lip.
I feel like that could go wrong a lot of different ways.
But this is how he was.
Probably not a good idea.
Brian, bad guy.
Are you close with him now?
Yeah. Oh, he's like my best friend.
Okay.
I talk to him every day.
I'm glad.
And I remind him every day what he used to do to me.
Oh, no. He reminds my daughter every day what he used to do to me.
Did you ever smack him and that was the end of it?
So, yeah, one time I was able to get him. We were fighting, and I got him onto his back somehow, and I punched him directly in the middle of the back, and he started crying, and that was kind of...
How old was he?
2 weeks ago.
He was... it was yesterday. Let's see. He was in his teens. It was before college, so probably...
And he cried?
Oh, he cried. Well, I hit him pretty hard.
No, I understand.
Middle of the back.
I'm not saying it didn't hurt, but that's one of those things. Like even if it feels like you snapped my spine, I'm going to leave. I'm done, but I'm not going to cry.
Yeah, but that was the
Call
one.
the cops.
Yeah.
So my sisters and I were like, my mom was the Donna Kelsey of the water polo world, and where I lived. So my sisters and I played each other. I went to Virginia. She went to Virginia Tech. First time we played each other, I was the younger sister. She was the older sister. We were matched up. She goes in, elbows me straight to the nose. I'm out of the game because I got a nosebleed. And so that's kind of like the most aggressive. But that was in the game at the same time, too. But
yeah, that's in the spirit of the competition. That
right,
feels
exactly.
slightly more. The raw eggs in the mouth is the worst one. Typewriter's close, but the raw eggs are pretty
hurt
bad.
so bad, Travis. The slap in the face was the worst part.
That description you had was awesome.
The ding is amazing.
It was all very true and real.
All right, let's get into this. Dave Roberts says that the idea of Mookie Betts playing a whole bunch of games at second base is a real thing. Quote, it's real. The way I envision it, Mookie starts about 40 games at second and about 110 in the outfield. So that's about a 3-to-1 ratio, right? And for every 3 he plays in right, he's going to play 1 at second base.
Significant.
Yeah. Why the hell are we doing this? Mookie Betts is a 6-time Gold Glover. Mookie Betts is one of the best outfielders in the entire National League. Mookie Betts covers a lot of ground. He's got a great arm. He's a smart baseball player. Mm-hmm. Why are we taking arguably our very best defender and playing him out of position? I know he can survive at second. This just seems like a solution to a problem that doesn't exist. You're already thin enough in other places. I hate this idea.
I think I know why. I think it kind of just highlights where the Dodgers are right now. There is a little desperation isn't the right word, but you're going to try things that you would have never thought that you would try.
But why would you try something that makes you demonstrably defensively worse?
Well, I don't know if it makes them demonstrably defensively worse because they have guys like Jason Hayward who, granted, he hasn't been great in the major leagues for a couple of years now, but he is a Gold Glove caliber right fielder. So you put him in right field.
But why are we looking for ways to get Jason Hayward in the lineup at the expense of Mookie Betts? It doesn't make sense.
Trav, pretty smart organization. They know what they're doing. I don't think you do this unless you're in a little kind of desperation mode. I really do. I don't think they're doing this because they want to do it. I think luxury versus necessity. It's not ideal to have Mookie Betts playing second, of course. And I'm with you. He's unbelievable at his position. But the only reason why they would do it is if they feel, all right, how can we go through at least this stage of the season trying to figure out Gavin Lux isn't there. We already didn't have depth. Even the idea of Lux at short, remember the conversation was like, this is the thought, this is the idea. You want him at short, you lose him. I don't think I don't know what your solution would be. But for an organization that's smart, I think they're only doing it out of
creating another problem. It's my solution would be Mookie Betts is going to bat first, second, or third in my lineup every day. He's going to play right field. Freddie Freeman is going to bat third or fourth in my lineup every day. He's going to play first base. Mm-hmm. I've Will Smith on the days that he can is going to catch, and he's going to bat fourth or fifth in my. Right. There's only so many sure things I have in this Dodger lineup. I'm not going to try to rob Peter to pay Paul. It doesn't. I don't understand why we're taking one of our most consistent performers, who's a high-level offensive player, a high-level defensive player, and now I'm shuffling the deck with him. You're going to have to shuffle it enough with everyone else as it is. Let's leave him out there because part of the reason I don't like this as much as I don't is it feels like more of an indulgence because Mookie wants to play second base, and if that's what it is, okay. But then let's have him play second base, and let's figure out the rest of this. I hate the idea of taking an elite defensive outfielder and playing him in the infield just because you can.
So this is my question. How much do you think they would actually play Mookie at second base in the playoffs, let's say?
Well,
probably not at all.
If it's just the same ratio, it would be once every series.
Yeah, but I doubt that he plays second base in the playoffs, most likely, right? And also, I think at some point in his career, he's going to move from right field to second base. So you're kind of gradually working him in. What is he, 30, 31 years
Something
old?
Like that.
Right around that spot. So eventually, he's going to have to move to that second base spot because that's where he wants to be anyway, and he's not going to be able to.
30.
Here's his quote.
Arm is going to go down a little bit. I think it's just a better. You just ease him into that to be able to have him play second base eventually.
Mookie was on MLB Network Radio, so I'll read the quote to you because maybe this has more to do with Mookie than it does with anybody else.
That's why I don't like it.
I've been having that conversation for probably the last 3 or 4 years. It's just my desire to get back in the infield because that's my home. but they pay me to be out and right. And I definitely enjoy being out and right for sure. But you only play the game for so long, and I would like to get back to my roots before it's all said and done. But if I got to stay in right, I got to stay in right. Just reading that quote, a lot of this is probably Mookie proposing it to the Dodgers and the Dodgers accommodating to Mookie.
That's why I don't like it.
Is that a better explanation then of how you get there?
It's an explanation, and I don't know if it's better. It actually makes me feel worse that it's just, hey, I consider. I get it. You came up as an infielder. You were drafted as an infielder. I understand that. You've become an MVP. You are an all-star level player in the outfield. Until we have to change it, let's not change it.
So
this is changing it just because, hey, I really miss being in the infield. Oh, is that a good reason? To me, it's not.
I mean, maybe he knows he's starting to lose a little bit. He's on the other side of 30 now, and maybe it's starting to go that route.
If the
He's
answer
a freak
is
athlete, though.
That's what I mean. So let's just leave him where he is. The transition back to the infield, whenever it happens, if it's a year from now, 2 years from now, and all of a sudden you break camp one year and say Mookie Betts is our second baseman, fine. But the idea of shuffling him back and forth, because he's not Chris Taylor can play shortstop. He can play the outfield. But he's not a gold glover at any of these places. He's a guy you can kind of put in and make work at different places. Same thing with a guy like Muncy. You can put him at first. You can put him at second. You can put him at third. You can move guys around. This is an elite level defender that we're playing out of position. It just seems like a terrible idea.
I don't disagree with you. I think if they didn't have somebody as a Gold Glove right fielder and Jason Hayward that they could put in that spot when he's in that second base spot, I would say, like, you're absolutely right. This is ridiculous. You don't have the guy. But because Hayward is that guy, it's okay.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of shuffling going on this year.
Yes, but not with him. That's what I mean. I'm not. How many times have you heard me say I love the Dodgers' versatility? It's not. Mookie doesn't have to be a part of that. Freddie Freeman. This is like saying
if Mookie doesn't say it, if Mookie doesn't say anything, he's staying in right.
That's my point. Yeah. That's where he should be. That's where he's best used. I want to do this very quickly, Emily. I want to get this in before we lose it. Derek in Pasadena. Derek, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up, Derek?
Oh, how's it going, man? Love the show. Just calling in regards to the sibling thing. Had a situation. I was learning how to ride the skateboard, so I'm kind of on one knee. My big brother is on his bike, and he just runs me over. And, he just runs me over, and he's laughing, and then he sees, I have, a hole in the side of my face. So we have to go get stitches.
What?
I ended up with a scar. I had to get stitches in my face.
What did mom or dad or both have to say? What did they have to say after that happened?
At first they were okay. Mom was mad, but at first it was okay. But the next day, I decided that I wanted payback, and I kind of hit his head by the door, and then he had to go get stitches. And both got whooping.
Both, yeah.
That ended that. That ended that. Thanks for the call, Derek. That's great.
That's the definition of payback. That is the definition. Well, I thought what he was going to say is that his dad then told his brother to ride the skateboard. He got on the bike. And his dad was like,
eye for an eye.
Yeah. Literally, you give me stitches, you're getting some stitches the very next day. Don't mess with Derek. Derek's not playing.
I bet you they're best friends now, too.
I hope so. Factor Cap coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ES.
time for Fact or Cap.
Oh, that's cap.
It's so cap, Dad.
Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go fact.
First of all, it's not a cap. It's
no, it
just
is a cap.
Welcome to Fact or Cap.
Hey guys, I'm going to answer one more Ask Emily. So this is from Sarah. She says FMK, months of the year. So I'm going to say F, June, M, October, and K, February. February, too short, super lame. When I was back on the East Coast, it's snowing all the time. It's the most miserable time of the year. October, great sports, beautiful weather, kind of perfect.
Best sports month.
Best sports month, awesome.
Yeah.
June's my birthday month, so that's why I F it.
I like that list.
Gotta have it in there.
I like that. There you
All
go.
right. So I know we talked about this slightly before, but I want to play the audio of Steve Ballmer and how excited he is to talk about toilets.
Toilets! 1,160 toilets and urinals! 3 times the NBA average number of toilets and urinals! We do not want people waiting in line. We want them to get back to their damn seats at the end of the half, before the game. Clocks!
And I also love clocks at the end. It's just his enthusiasm
He's
for life
terrific.
is something that I want as well.
Clocks!
So you would want to party with Steve Ballmer. All right, Trav, fact or cap?
Yeah, fact. I mean, if I can define party as I'd like to go out and have dinner with him and have a couple of bottles of wine and get
Sure,
to kind of go
counts,
do
that
that.
counts.
Yeah, I think because he's super enthusiastic. Everybody likes being around somebody that's super up. At least for a night or two, right? I think he's got
Kawhi loves it.
Unbelievable stories. He's had all these different incredible. He's got his Microsoft life. He's got his NBA life. Like I think that he would be a really fun hang for a night for sure. Fact.
Berg?
Fact, absolutely. He would be just a blast. There's nothing in this world I'm more excited about than he is about toilets. like if you can get that excited about toilets, yeah, you're going to be a fun time. And I just don't want to just have wine with him. I want to have shots. Like, let's go shoot some tequila shots with this guy. And just have that. Like, nobody gets that excited about
I'm going to
anything.
play that every time you guys are late from the bathroom. I'm going to say that I'm going to play that.
I love that.
That's 4 times for me a show.
All right, Al?
You know, as much as I want to say cap, right? Like, I want to be, no, like, it's fact. Like, this guy is all over the place. How many times have you seen him? You see the guy walking around. I think I have kind of a fascination. Michael and I do this where every time that the Lakers are going to play the Clippers, what's Ballmer's net worth today, right?
Yeah.
And you're walking around, you're like, this guy, what do you mean how is that guy worth $100 billion or $88 billion or whatever it is? These people are fascinating. Party with him? Sure, why not? Maybe I get some insider on what the hell's going on with the Clippers.
Taylor?
Falling apart.
Fact, yeah. Whatever he's on, I want some.
Plus, I have an enthusiasm for toilets as well. Maybe not at his level, but I do like a nice, clean toilet.
Okay, they did like 6 months ago. They did a big piece in the LA Times about Intuit Dome, and a big piece of his quotes were talking about the toilets. So that stays on brand with, you know, what he was talking about 6 months ago. He's very pumped to have 3 times the average of what NBA arenas have.
You got to be the best at something. All right.
No lines.
So Pau Gasol was honored last night, and we all know that he's one of the best NBA wingmen of all time. So you think that you are a good wingman. Greg, fact or cap?
Ooh, okay, so just like out in the world. Yeah. Depends, but I'm going to say cap. No, I am not. Because if you're going to be a good wingman, you need to be able to walk right up to somebody, start having a conversation, and bring your buddy into that conversation with you. And that's...
Have you met Berg?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I can be on the other side of the being wingmanned, but being the wingman itself is not my biggest strength.
Okay, Al?
Fact, and it's because I'm in a relationship and I'm not looking for anybody, and that makes it so much easier to not even have to worry about that stuff because you just don't care. Yeah, you just don't care. Like, there's literally, if I'm with Berg and Greg says, man, that girl's really cute. Well, I don't care. Okay, sounds good. Let's go talk to her. I think it's different when I was single. Maybe it's just a different dynamic. When you're with somebody, I don't think you care.
Yeah, then it's fighting. Like, I'm fighting over it with them. You know, I'm looking for that one. I'm not trying to give it to somebody else.
Trev?
No. Cap.
Give her the eyes of, like, the chili waiter's eyes?
Yeah, I don't. Good luck, buddy. I'm going to sit over here. I'm going to eat my wings and drink my beer. You go over there and knock yourself out. I'm terrible at that.
All right, Taylor?
You would actually not. You'd probably say, "No, don't listen to him. He's lying."
Fact, I think I'm pretty good at this. Actually, I helped one of my good friends who's engaged now to be married and having a kid. I helped him meet his fiance. So,
oh no, that's nice. Yeah. Then that's a perfect.
The trick is you have to, you see them with a girl and you just walk up to him and be like, "He helped me through one of the hardest times of my life."
Oh, is that your go-to?
Is
that your go-to? That's pretty good.
Yeah, it helped.
That. Nice.
Trustworthy.
Are you a good wing woman?
I think no. I think I just don't know how to really get into the conversation, and I think I tend to monopolize conversation a lot. So I don't think that's necessarily the best way to introduce friends to people.
Was it Wedding Crashers? We lost a lot of good men that day, or whatever it was.
All right, so WWE's Liv Morgan was caught on the Knicks TV. Clearly not interested into whatever the person next to her is trying to tell her. So if those haven't seen the video, she's kind of just like staring off into space, kind of like, yeah, to this guy who's kind of right in her face trying to tell her something. Don't know the relationship between these two people, so who knows what actually they were talking about. But when the woman in your life is not listening to you. Al, fact or cap?
100%. This is a simple one, too. They're just kind of distracted by something. So the conversation is obviously not good enough, what I'm talking about, to where I have her undivided attention. And it could be as simple, like she could be, maybe she's in a text or something along those lines, but if she's interested in the conversation I'm having, she'll put her phone down, right? Or that work email, whatever, can wait a second. If it's not that interesting, I could tell yeah, she's definitely not paying attention to me. So definitely can tell.
Trev?
Susan's really good at paying attention. Like and it's one of the things that drives her crazy about me is that I will tune out, not on purpose, but it just happens. She's really good at it. So on the times where I know she's not, it's very obvious. It doesn't happen a lot, not because I'm not boring occasionally, I'm sure I am, but she's very attentive in that regard. So on the very rare occasion where she's not, you can tell.
So now you know how Susan feels when I'm not paying attention to you.
So I only
now you could relate with Susan.
Yes, I know, that's well said.
So I only have a few people in my life that are females because I'm single. So my mom always pays attention to everything that I say. My daughter doesn't pay attention to anything that I say.
That's not a daughter thing though. That's a kid thing.
That's a kid thing, right? Exactly. So the only female that I talk to on a regular basis is Amanda. And so when I talk to Amanda, I can 100% tell when she's not paying attention to me, and I just leave her office. I'm like, all right, you're done. We've hit our moment where you're like, I'm not paying attention.
She told you we're done, but you know that it's time for you to move on.
All right, I don't need to be in here any longer. You are not listening to a word I'm saying.
Is it the attention on the computer? Is it, what is it?
If she picks up her phone, if she's answering an email, I'm like,
tell.
Okay.
Yeah, you can tell.
I'm walking away. You're now working. I'm going to walk away.
Yeah. Right. Taylor?
Fact, yeah, I can tell, and usually when it's happening, I can just kind of trail off in conversation and stop talking, and then the silence will catch their attention, and they'll start listening.
That video, though, is amazing because she's doing just the very bare minimum to acknowledge that somebody is speaking to her, but you can tell the words are just bouncing off of her. None of it is going in. It's just entirely... I know you're talking, but I'm just waiting for you to stop, and I'll give you a little nod. There's no back and forth in any of that.
Look, Taylor, that was my 2.5 seconds of silence yesterday. It was trying to grab the listener's attention.
Yep, exactly.
Now, here's Alan Sliwa.
Where is he?
Right at the half, it's
there he is.
That is like 3 seconds.
There he is.
There
he is.
But
he's trying to hit the post.
It's also like me trying to tell Travis about Game of Thrones.
Oh my God.
Or The Last of Us. I'm saying stuff and you're just like, yep, not recognizing.
I thought you were going to watch Last of Us.
We'll see.
Maybe.
No.
He's not watching it.
Don't force it, Berg.
No, he
he's
said
not watching
he was going to. He told.
Yeah, but that's the problem. You're already doing too much. If you left it alone, if you just left it alone. You got to bring it up, then you got to push for no reason.
I'm not pushing.
It's gone. It's gone.
Pushing, Berg.
That's it. There's no push. You do what you want.
Right.
You do you.
Yesterday, I I had a therapy appointment, and I was talking to my therapist, about just like general stuff. You chit chat for a little bit beforehand if no one's ever been to therapy here before. But I was telling her I went to a concert this week, and I went to see Maggie Rogers, and so she was like, "Actually, I was at that concert too." And I was like, "That's interesting and kind of weird." Anyway, so I was like, "I'm glad I didn't run into her because I feel like that would be a weird situation."
You have a full hour session during the concert.
When I was in Connecticut, I did run into my therapist at like a Trader Joe's one time. It's just a weird dynamic.
Why are you buying that lettuce?
We talked about
your brain is telling you to buy this lettuce because
right. So
that's a cry for help. Lettuce.
Putting the lettuce down. She's like,
She's
"You're
probably
right."
seeing my
That's
whole
a
cart.
gateway lettuce is what's
You're
happening.
right.
This is how it starts. With
Cabbage
the lettuce.
is next.
We've been over this. With every time you buy that lettuce.
But my whole cart will be full of snacks and whatever. Anyway, so there are people that you never want to see out in public, out of context. Taylor, Fetter Cap.
Coworkers? No, I'm just kidding.
It's not bad. I think a lot of people are. I think that definitely happens to a lot of people.
Not you guys, though.
No, of course
sure,
not.
Sure, no. All right, Travis.
Honestly, I think it's work people. Not that you don't want to, but it's weird. Like if you just kind of run into somebody where you're not expecting to run into them, work is work, right? Where we all have work relationships with each other. If you and I just were at a Dodger pod, you didn't know I was going, I didn't know you were going, and we turn around, we're standing next to each other in the beer line. For half a second, that's weird. Like, why didn't you tell me you were going? Well, why didn't you tell me you were going? Right? It's just there's that.
We probably both just start laughing.
There's
we
that
did not
weird
communicate
moment.
that.
I do think it's work. That when we've all got our little pods, it's somebody in the pod in a different pod that's always kind of strange.
Right, Berg?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fact. I don't think there's definitely people you don't want to see out in public, and it's mostly work people. That's who you see on regular. I see enough of you guys. I think I understand so much why Travis doesn't want to invite us over to his house to have
some
drinks.
people.
What about your barber, Bird?
It's like the movie thing.
My barber?
Yeah, your terrible barber.
Oh, the one from before? Yeah, I will never see that woman again. She destroyed everything on my head. But no, I would change barbers, and she's fine.
It's like seeing a teacher out in public is always a weird thing.
That's
too.
a good
You
example.
don't exist that the teacher existed outside of school. But Al?
I got a little bit of I don't know if it's weird, but it kind of falls more along the line of how you are around your place. So it's fact for me. Listen, you're bound to run into your neighbors. You're bound to run into my girl when she walks rookie. He's like the mayor of Pasadena, and she's got to know a lot of people just from walking the dog. Maybe somebody else has a dog. Maybe they've now are talkative, whatever the case is. I'm not like that, but I have rookie. So when I go out, they're thinking like I'm going to have the same long conversations that she has with them. No, the guy's got to go do his business. We're going back inside. So every time I kind of see people or I see somebody with their dog and I'm kind of looking like, gosh, dang it, I got to talk to these people. It's nothing personal, but I just want to go and get it done. That's the one that kind of sticks out.
All you got to do, Slee?
Yeah.
AirPods, hoodie over the head.
Yeah.
No one talks.
And jog.
Yeah.
Just like fast walk.
I don't think Rookie likes the jog.
Your siblings all did a number on all of you. Your tweets coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Everybody, it's Cap. Listen, I want you to mark your calendars for March 16th. It's Thursday. It's the tip of the tournament, and we're all going to be at Yamava. Okay, so it's going to be Travis and Slee from 10 to 1. Mason's not going to be on vacation. Mason in Ireland, 1 to 4. Me and Shidano coming up from 4 to 7. There's all these amazing craft beers, incredible restaurants, 150 LED screen TVs. It's the 909, the greatest sports bar on the planet at Yamava. Thursday, March 16th, all day long. Mark your calendars. Be there. I'll see you at Yamava.
the show that begins 9 hours of LA sports talk all day long. Each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
All right. So, how did we even get into this? How did we even get into what our siblings... Oh,
because bullying and the noogies, and then you asked Greg. Yeah.
That's it. So, somehow
Bergs
we're talking
funny,
about...
Man.
That typewriter thing is terrific. A couple of our listeners are weighing in on these things. Drew Soto says, I'm the oldest of 3 brothers, and I remember we would do the Oklahoma drill, and I was the biggest growing up. We were 13, 9, and 8. Yeah, running the Oklahoma drill with a 13-year-old against an 8-year-old seems a little like a mismatch, Drew. That is a bad deal. Were you full head of steam coming downhill to truck your 8-year-old brother?
I always wonder this because I didn't have an older brother or a younger brother. I always wonder, is it just like a matter of time before, and it's probably different for everybody, the payback, right?
Yes.
It's, oh, no, it's you just wait till I'm
mad enough. It's not even big
wait
enough.
Wait till
it's
I'm 21 and you're 23 rather than when it's 12 and 10 or whatever it is.
My 2 boys are close to each other. They enjoy each other's company. They get along pretty well. But they also like to horse around and roughhouse and all that kind of stuff. And now that the age difference is 22 and 17,
we're getting closer.
That's a physical match that it's reasonable, right?
We're in the game.
Michael spends a lot of time in the gym. Mm-hmm. He's stronger than Bobby. Okay, so it has tilted the other way where Bobby can still do fine, but it's not this, hey, I'm 15 and you're 10 and I can manhandle you. This is... Got to be a little careful here.
Well,
I got to make sure.
Got to be more strategic,
not to push this too far. This could swing back on me one.
Where's the psychological part of it? Where is Michael on that department?
It's the gap has closed significantly.
Everything's closing.
Yeah, because 17 and 22, there's a difference, but we're getting close to there not being much of one. Poppin' Bottles says, I was just standing in my kitchen and my brother, who was 15, randomly kicked me in the stomach and ran away.
Jesus.
Instead of helping me, my mom asked what I did to make him mad. I said, I don't know, be an 11-year-old girl standing in the kitchen. That's the thing. There is no thing that the other sibling needs to do to provoke you. Just when you're in that dynamic and you see the other one and you see them walking by, you give them a little shot. You just get maybe not a kick in the
Shots
stomach,
fired,
but a little smack in the head, a little elbow along the way, a little bump of the shoulder, just to let them know I can still do this to you.
Yeah, that's okay. Not running over your brother with a bike when he's on a skateboard on one knee.
Christopher Holmes says, I have 2 older sisters, and they went for the deep-rooted emotional torture that they hoped would manifest as an adult. They would set up plays, and I was only allowed to play the old lady role, and he's got pictures of himself dressed up in all these dresses when he looks like he's about 8 years old.
That's pretty funny. That's very funny.
Isn't Christopher Holmes an actor now too? So maybe they helped him along the way.
They pointed him on a path, right?
Yeah,
I feel like that's how the sisters will get you. They're playing chess while you're playing checkers.
Yeah, they're setting you up. Were your sisters protective of you?
Yeah, they were, and we didn't have like what you're just kind of describing there. It's fine. Listen, maybe they did some stuff, but for the most part, they were pretty.
Kind of goes one or the other way. Like you kind of are the one that's just all over them, or you really, really look out for them.
That could actually also be it as well. I didn't really hang out too much with my sisters growing up. I didn't really annoy them. Like I was probably outside doing something or playing with the cul-de-sac of all the just playing with Parker or whatever kid. Literally, right? So it's like more of that. So I wasn't kind of in their way at all.
Don't forget, we are getting closer to the pickleball tournament, the inaugural Pickleball Madness. March 18th, 10 to 4, Agape Pickleball Center at Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. Come on out and hang out with us. You will have a great time. Not only to see Al and I play bad pickleball, but we can talk sports. We can watch the basketball games. We can have a couple of beers. It is going to be a great day. The event is open to the general public. Come on out. Thanks to Michelob Ultra, Bud Light Seltzer, and Pizza Hut. Not only will we be playing pickleball, there will be TVs all over the place to watch the college basketball games. There's a Pop-A-Shot competition, pickleball demos and lessons, beer garden. That's where I'll be. Kids Zone, complimentary food and drinks, live DJ, prizes, giveaways. You're going to have a great time. Come on out with us a week from Saturday, Agape Pickleball Center in Fountain Valley.
If we're eliminated early, which right now Vegas has us out pretty early, that's the Caesars Sportsbook already has us on, I don't know what kind of, they have us out by 10:40.
We're probably field
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah.
when it comes to odds, there's like the favorite, the second favorite, long shots, and then there's just field. You don't even get a special bet.
Yeah. If we're out early, there's good news and bad news. The good news is we have plenty of time to hang out with everybody. The bad news is we have plenty of time to hang out with everybody, and they're probably going to be like, okay, I got enough of you, Slee. You can
keep it moving, Alan.
Go shoot. Go play Pop-A-Shot.
We get a little Pop-A-Shot game going on. We'll do that for
we'll
sure.
get Pop-A-Shot in, and then it will be 11:04. Like, there's only so many Pop-A-Shot you can play.
So, Era Messerlian has the details of the tournament, believe it or not. This sounds like he knows what he's talking about. Format of the tourney will be 2 games to 11 straight up. The most combined points in those 2 games wins. If there's a tie, there'll be a third game to 5 to break the tie. The winner moves on. Single elimination. The championship game will be best of 3 games. So there's your format. So we're going to play 2 games no matter what.
Play 2 games no matter what. If we lose 11-9, we got to win the next one 13-14 to...
Well, we'd have to know. So 11-9, we're down 2. If we won 11-8 the next game, we win.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that is...
It's like soccer, like composite scoring. It's a... Yeah.
Aggregate.
Thank you.
But that's
the word I
better.
was searching for.
Imagine if we had to do best of 3. No, I think that's
We'd
the
be there all
perfect
day.
way to do it.
We'd be there all day.
It's the perfect way to
See,
do it.
Emily, I made a mistake. You corrected me, and I said thank you. That's how it works.
Okay,
See?
well, I need to work on it. Again, this is
like,
why,
screw you.
This is what I talked about with my therapist after I talked about the Maggie Rogers concert. Just accepting and apologizing.
There you go. Keith in Laverne. Keith, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up, Keith?
Hey, guys, I wanted to touch on the Mookie thing. I think there's kind of a couple of things I'd like to add to the conversation maybe you guys weren't talking about, which is, one, I think having the DH be someone who doesn't play in the field, which is right now J.D. Martinez, and looking forward, maybe Ohtani. I think that limits the flexibility defensively that we've had for the last 5+ years. So that's one thing that maybe forces their hand to Slee's point. And the other thing is, if you want to argue, Betts could be excellent there. He potentially up the middle could affect the game more than being in right field, even though, Trav, I 100% agree, he probably is the best right fielder in the game. So those are the 2 points I wanted to make. Wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, thanks, Keith. So with the DH thing that you're mentioning, Mookie apparently has made it very clear to the Dodgers, to Dave Roberts, that he does not like DHing. That's just something that he does not get a lot out of. He doesn't want to do it. If you look at what he said, 110 games in right field, the 40 games at second base, that leaves 12 games where he's got a day off.
Yeah.
And that sounds about right.
Yep.
That sounds about where you're just giving him some time. And not that he couldn't DH. I mean, he certainly could. He's an amazing offensive player. But I just don't like, if it, as out of necessity because you have no other options at second base and that's all you have left, okay. But so far, we haven't gone through all the options at second base. Chris Taylor can play second base. Muncy can play second base. Vargas can play second base. Rojas can play second base. There's a lot of guys that I'm going to put in that spot before I say...
So you're not jeopardizing, right?
Yeah. So before I say, hey, let's take the best right fielder in baseball or one of the best right fielders in baseball and put him in a different spot. I do not like that.
Yeah, but your quarterback wants to play corner. He grew up, that's his roots.
I grew up as a linebacker. When we played flag football down at the park, I was always the safety. Yeah, but you're Justin Herbert. How about we just stay back there and play quarterback? Seems like a good idea.
Listen, I'll say this just to kind of close it off. I don't think I think maybe because we haven't really seen any regular season hasn't started. You haven't really seen what this is going to look like. You haven't really seen it's. I get your what the hell are we doing, but I don't think any of this comes up unless Mookie's bringing up second.
You mean that it's his idea?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But this is why we have bosses. This is why we have people that write out the lineup card that aren't players. Otherwise, everybody would bat third. Right? That there needs to be somebody that says, like, I hear you. I know you want to play second. I know that's where you played in high school in the minor leagues. You're the best right fielder in baseball. We're just going to put you out there. Cool? Cool.
You're surprised that wasn't the response from the Dodgers, or who knows what that...
Look, if it's one of those, hey, listen, we're going to find some time for you out there, but I need you to get ready to play right field. That's what I'd like. We can find a time, and I know that you can do it in a pinch if we need to do it. And if all of those options that I laid out are bad and we need to circle back and put you out there, we'll get it done. You're the best right fielder in baseball. Let's just do that.
We know that works.
That it absolutely works. All right, the Lakers did something they haven't done all season long. That's next. It's Trav and Slee, 710.
All right, I'm talking to all 710 listeners right now. Let's start off with this. March 18th, it's a Saturday afternoon. Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. That is where I am about to teach everybody a little bit about pickleball. And the reason is because you see my father here is a world champion pickleball player. And while I have never played pickleball, not one time in my entire life, I already got my own racket, which means I'm about to kick some you-know-what. So come on out and support. Be there. We'll all watch college ball games together, and we are going to win.
It's Travis Rogers, Alan Sliwa.
Because I'm tall and because I am a man of a certain carriage.
This is an alpha move. This is an alpha move right here.
Most back seats don't work for me.
Travis and Sliwa.
On 710 ESPN.
Toilets!
Alan isn't back, so gotta play the toilets.
Alan got the toilet buzzer. Instead of like a clock that's, 3, 2, 1, it's just Ballmer screaming toilets.
That's where you know where I am. We need one of his restrooms that he's going to have. He's going to have 3 times the amount of restrooms in his arena. We need one right here. Just
we should
this
get?
corner.
Get one of those outhouses like at a construction site. Just put it in the corner of the room.
Porta potty?
Yeah.
The problem
just
is
leave it over there.
The problem is then there's like 2 of us in line. We're like, all right, we're just waiting.
There was a line in there this time.
There was a line.
Yeah,
just hear that plastic door slam every segment. Those things are not great. Look, I'm kind of with Steve Ballmer on his it's the little things in life that can really make a big difference.
Right.
Not having to wait for a bathroom, getting back in your seat in time. One of the things that I think SoFi nailed when they opened, if you're waiting more than 2 minutes to get a beer, you're doing it wrong. Because there's a beer thing every 10 feet at SoFi Stadium.
Food wasn't that way.
The food
took forever when I went that Raiders-Chargers game.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like there's a beer stand.
That part you're right.
Every 6 steps, and none of them have long lines, more than a person or two. That's a good way to do it.
A good PA guy is important.
Good PA guy
that keeps your DJ Malski.
Malski, yeah,
he's great.
He is good.
And it adds to the.
What about Nita?
Yeah, she's also awesome too.
She cranks.
She shreds.
Yeah, she's awesome. Nita is the guitar player that they have. Then she plays with Alice Cooper and all these. Like, she's a real rock god goddess, I guess in this case.
It's awesome,
and she's terrific. It's the little things. And if I can just go in there and the bathroom is clean and available, heck yeah.
Well, I mean, look, go to the Coliseum.
Awesome.
I mean, just amazing.
That is the exact opposite of what Steve Ballmer's going for. Yeah, that's always
a trough.
Listen,
the troughs are gone.
They got rid of.
Thankfully.
Yeah, they got rid of that.
Troughs are gone from Dodger Stadium. They're gone from the Coliseum. I don't know if there's maybe like at Wrigley Field or Fenway Park. There's still some.
Wrigley
trough
sounds
action.
like that's exactly.
Last time I was at
what it would
Wrigley
be.
was, it's at least 10 years ago, but they were troughed up.
I think Virginia Tech football stadium has troughs for the guys. So
yeah,
it's
I don't disagree that Ballmer with the bathrooms is not. Hey, it's the little things. I'm just surprised that's his opening pitch to every pitch to it. No,
it's an unusual place to start.
You walk in, and the first thing he does with Kawhi and PG and everybody, hey guys, take a look. Take a look at what? Look how many back. Count them out.
Look at all that plumbing.
Then he has like a spreadsheet that says, look how many Crypto has. Look how many Sacramento has.
But a nice bathroom goes a long way.
It goes a long way,
the
but
SoFi ones
the
are
opening
great.
pitch.
It does. It makes it. I'm with
But
Al.
you can't have
It's a weird opening offer. You can't. Tell me about your stadium. More bathrooms than any other in the entire league. All right. Yeah, exactly. All right.
How's the team?
Cool, but
so what's capacity like? Where's it located? Did you not hear me?
You're not listening?
How's the parking?
Bathrooms.
Yeah,
Parking is huge.
No, they're great. Well, that might be number one.
Or like
easy
not
in
even
and out.
Yeah.
Easy
you
in
can
and out.
have good public
transport.
transport is a big thing too, so that is fine.
Can I get in and out easily?
Okay, well, I wonder for where they're located. You would tell me that every game you were getting up there. I didn't go to a game, a Rams game. I went early on, Chargers and the Raiders. They have their own, or they're using is it
the parking you're talking about?
Is it leaked together?
I would assume, and this is completely an assumption, I would assume they will use some of that so
Yeah,
far.
might as well.
Why not?
Yeah.
Right?
But
Why
they'll probably
not?
have their own as
have
well.
their own, but then you have literally a 70-something thousand stadium that's
Because the Forum,
right there.
you can use both too. Because for both shows at both places, you can overflow.
I wonder what it's going to do for the dynamic for the Lakers and the Clippers. And we'll get to the Lakers being above the line in a second. Having their own place. Because when they had their own place prior at the sports arena, it was such a dump that it almost didn't even qualify, right? It literally. And did you ever go to an NBA game at the sports arena?
No. The only, and I got an equivalent of a better dump, the sports arena in
Yeah.
San Diego, where you went and got your burrito.
Yeah, did you go to an end? Because it was weird. Like, there's dumpy stadiums all over the place, but when you have like a major league product in a dump like that, it's really odd. Like, you had Michael Jordan coming in to the sports arena. You had Shaquille O'Neal coming into this. It was so surreal, the juxtaposition of these incredible teams and players in this incredibly lucrative league playing in a dump.
Can I give you a fantastic example? KD's first year with the Golden State Warriors, okay? That was San Diego used to get a preseason game every year. Okay, they'd get the Lakers game, whoever they're playing. KD's first year as a Los Angeles Laker, or I'm sorry, as a Golden State Warriors down in San Diego. So you're talking about these elite, unbelievable athletes. They had to stop the game at halftime because the floor had too much moisture. The stadium was just awful. You're right. You're like, how are these the world-class athletes playing in this arena? I think that's the description.
I wonder what it does for their psyche, for their level of I'm not talking competitiveness as far as like we got this player and you got that player. Just we've got our own place. It's state of the art. We have an owner worth, what did you say, $80 billion? $88 billion who is sparing no expense on toilets and everything else. That
You have your own Ring of Honor or your jersey retirements if you want those.
We've got our place. We're not sharing and quite honestly, the Clippers are not sharing Staples Center. They're renting a room in Staples Center. They're living in their brother's house, and they've got their own room in the back. That's what it is, right? They don't have any ownership in that, no matter what they want to tell themselves. They're going to have full ownership in this new place. Does it change it? Because I think it could change all of the stuff around it. The product on the court still needs to be really good, but the quicker they carve out their own identity entirely, the better for that organization.
I'll tell you what I think it does change. I think it is a difference. I think any time that you could take a 20,000-seat stadium and call it your own home, and everything you do there is based on, really, it's direct competition. What Inglewood is doing right now is direct competition with LA Live, right? That those concerts that maybe were just a no-brainer, crypto's getting them. Into a Dome is probably going to get a lot of those.
Mm-hmm.
I think I set it up that way because I think also if you're a Clipper fan, you're saying to yourself,
for sure,
awesome. I don't have to go to a stadium where the seats have been purple for years, and you know that everything, this is all, at the end of the day, as much as you try to put lipstick on a pig, it's still what it is. It is
Lakers
the
building.
Los Angeles Lakers building. I think it changes it from that dynamic, and I think that there's going to be a little bit of excitement for a Laker fan saying, hey, this is kind of cool. We have a Clippers home game, Lakers and the Clippers. We got to drive 20, 25 minutes out to Inglewood to go catch a game. What won't change? You're going to have an unbelievable amount of Laker fans there when they're playing each other.
Yeah, but that's true of every Laker game, whether it's in Oklahoma City, Atlanta,
Agreed.
Chicago, it doesn't matter.
But that's not going to stop. Oh, well, it's not our home. Laker fans, they're going to be there.
No.
But I do think
everywhere.
it changes a little bit of an identity for the Clippers. I don't underplay that. I'm a big what Ballmer's doing is that's all you can ask for if you're a Clipper fan. Everything he's doing is the right thing for the Clippers.
I don't think it's going to happen this year, but I'm from an intellectual exercise. I'm not a Clipper fan, but from an intellectual situation, I would love to see what happens to them if they ever got over the hump. Because so far they're so much better than they were 10 years ago. Right? They have better players. They have infinitely better ownership. They're a competitor in the Western Conference. But they still you can say about the Clippers, yeah, they're the Clippers, man. Their two best guys don't play very often. They still have only gotten to the conference finals once in 50 years, right? What if that's not true anymore? What if they do go to the finals? What if they win an NBA championship? What does that do? They're never going to be the Lakers. That's not the point. The question, though, is how does it change the legitimacy of the franchise as far as free agents, as far as attraction, as far as just kind of starting to become something other than the guy that is in the Lakers' back room? That's the part that's interesting to me, not just from the facility, but if they ever got over the hump or got closer than they've ever been before, what does that do?
Well, let me ask you
this.
this.
I think it does a lot.
Did you think it was going to change when PG and Kawhi joined the Clippers?
Not unless they won.
Do you feel like a lot has changed since those two came?
The change that has happened in the Clippers over the last 10 years, let's say, has everything to do with the ownership and very little to do with the play on the court.
Okay, so I agree with you. I don't think that's changed. I think even if they won an NBA championship, I don't know how much it's going to change.
Well, I think it changed a lot.
Well, what? Give me your description, your definition of a lot.
You can't. They would be a legitimate NBA franchise in the sense that we're contenders in this, not because we're telling you that we are, but because we are. Mm-hmm. There's a difference between saying, "Hey, we got our guys." Yeah, but you've never been here before. You guys don't belong here. Where all of a sudden Milwaukee goes from, "Hey, they got Giannis and they got these good places," to, "We know they can win an NBA championship." They have a presence and an aura about them that is different than, say, the Phoenix Suns, who are very good and they've got good players, but it's still like, are you guys ever going to punch your ticket or not? That once you've done that, and it doesn't last forever. If the Bucks go another 20 years without winning one, it goes back to the way it was. But in the short term, if you win one of those, you can kind of have your chest out a little bit. You can kind of have one of those, look, we're here, we won one, we're going to try to win another one. It does change things.
I think the description of the franchise because they won can change, but I guess my question to you, that's why I was asking, give me more details. How much does it change in LA? That portion I don't think changes a lot in LA. But the perception of who the Los Angeles Clippers are, that will change. And it might not be in my eye or your eyes, but let's just say other NBA fans across the country can say, oh, wow, that is...
Oddly, LA is the worst market to measure that by, right? Because not only do you have another team, you have the Lakers. Right, it's not just another team; it's the Lakers who have 100 championships and 100 Hall of Fame players.
It's the biggest hill that you got.
Right, so they're not trying to climb the hill against the Lakers; they're trying to climb the hill against the league. Right, that the Lakers are a one-off; they are just a one of one, and trying to compete with them is a losing errand. Like globally, you can compete with them in a season, which brings us to this: the Lakers and the Clippers are both over the line, but under the line. What's that going to look like? That's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee.
Can you scroll down?
10.
Everybody, it's Cap. Listen, I want you to mark your calendars for March 16th. It's Thursday. It's the tip of the tournament, and we're all going to be at Yamava. Okay, so it's going to be Travis and Slee from 10 to 1. Mason's not going to be on vacation. Mason in Ireland, 1 to 4. Me and Shidano coming up from 4 to 7. There's all these amazing craft beers, incredible restaurants, 150 LED screen TVs. It's the 909, the greatest sports bar on the planet at Yamava. Thursday, March 16th, all day long. Mark your calendars. Be there. I'll see you at Yamava.
mean, eat it like Mace. You're good.
A lot of people still coming in, Slee, with what their older siblings used to do to them as children. DW has, I'm the last of 7. Wow, you got it from 6 other people. Sorry, DW. The list: forced dress wearing, loogie drip, noogies, pull the finger, blame for all calamities, hot sauce on the finger when you're sleeping so when you wake up and rub your eyes.
Oh, that's not good.
And much more. Yeah, I'm the baby/spoiled. That's rough, DW. That is quite a list.
He came out one of two ways: damaged or as hard
Tough
as a rock.
as nails.
Yeah, you know what I mean? There's nothing that will break him. Nothing that will break him at all.
Tough as nails, hopefully, because otherwise, everyone you look at, like, that guy's going to do something. That guy's going to put hot sauce on my finger. That, by the way, I've never heard of that.
Never heard of that.
The loogie drip is a common one. We've had
Yeah.
a lot of that, and that's real gross, but kind of a common one along the way. Here's our pal JC in Ventura. JC, what do you got for us?
How's it going, fellas? Well, I'm the oldest brother, and there's 3 of us, and we're all about 3 years apart. But I used to be pretty hard on my brothers, I'm not going to lie. My dad told me to make sure they were tough, they can handle themselves. Until one day, I believe I was 22 years old at the time, and they were a little older in high school, now working out and anything like that. They decided one day that was going to be the day that they get me. And I'm walking down the hallway, and sure, they jumped out of the room. They just started pounding on me. I said, okay, this is the day. Let's do it. And by the end of everything that happened, all 3 of us were repairing drywall throughout the house and stuff.
You got jumped.
Replace tables and chairs and everything else.
JC, that doesn't sound like a prank. That sounds like an assault. That sounds like you got attacked in your own home.
Well, they got tired of all the noogies and hard things I used to do with them. I used to have a pet iguana I used to stick in the bed with them that they couldn't stand. And so they thought they were going to get back at me that day. To this day, my youngest brother says that was the worst mistake he ever made in his life.
Thank you for the call, JC. Appreciate it. They had to fix the drywall in the house.
The honesty. He literally got jumped. That's all I heard.
I'm sure Mr. or Mrs. JC and Ventura
We're
were really
very happy about
that
it.
in their house.
I'm trying to think what my reaction would be if I came home and there were holes in the drywall from my children assaulting each other. I don't think I'd be thrilled about that.
Would Bobby be the one explaining everything? Okay, Dad, here's what happened. Okay.
No, he would just go, I don't know how that happened. He'd have like a split lip, a bloody eye. Michael would have a broken arm.
Drywall on his knuckles.
Yeah, the dust all over his knuckles and his clothes would be covered.
Dad, it's crazy, man, what's happening with the
We came
weather.
home and it looked like this.
My sisters and I think, did do something similar-ish. Not really, but we had to fix the drywall, or the drywall was ruined because we had put our little sister in a stroller, and we had stairs that went like down a small flight and then down a small flight. So we pushed her down the small flight into the wall. So it's kind of almost like a
How old was your sister?
pretty young. It's almost like a Stanley in the Office kind of thing
People
where
are
she gets
evil.
there. So but
Just
she's fine.
evil.
She had a helmet on. It was all good.
Human beings can be pretty rough on one another.
At least I do like they had a helmet on. That's a good
safety first.
It was just like stealing the Office.
Okay, is this a good comp or no? You got an owner in Steve Ballmer that's got more money than he knows what to do with, and he's passionate. He wants to win. All right? We keep talking about Cohen of the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
And you're looking at two big markets, and you're looking at two iconic franchises, the Lakers and the Yankees. I don't think it's the best comp, but I mean, this is the best way that I can explain it. I think there are real, at least my perception of it, there are a lot of Mets fans. There are real Mets fans. They're very passionate about their Mets. They love being Mets fans. There is no if Yankees are going to dominate, but there's also, I feel like, again, this is just my perception, the Mets fan base is a real fan base.
Yeah.
But the comp is the closest thing that I could get to where here you now have a new owner that walked in. He's got all the money in the world. And he's saying the only way that I could just at least get the respect from some of these other teams, some of these other franchises, get respect from the sport, is I got to go out there and get big-time people. That's the best comp that I have, but I don't think there's a Clipper fan base the way there is a Met fan base.
I think there is. I think because we're here.
And you might be right. I genuinely don't know.
And you and I, in particular, are so embedded in the Laker culture because of where we work, because of what we do, because of the teams that we root for. It's a little hard to see the forest through the trees, right? I think that it is a good comp because when you have a city the size of New York, when you have a city the size of Los Angeles, you can be the B and still have a ton of fans and still be dwarfed by the A. Both of those things can be true at the same time. The Mets do have a fan base, but it's nowhere near what the Yankees are. The Clippers have fans. I think we usually when I'm saying it, it's tongue-in-cheek, but the Clippers have fans. They just don't have any fans relative to what the Lakers have. It's an unfair comparison like we were talking about a minute ago. It is similar to what you're talking about in New York. And I think that what Cohen is trying to do is similar to what Ballmer has tried to do, which is who are the best players available? Okay, that's Justin Verlander. Pay him. Who's the best player available? It's Kawhi Leonard. Okay, pay him. Give him whatever he needs to get him.
Trade whatever picks you got. Right? Doesn't matter.
The Mets have a relatively new stadium, so I don't think they're going to do that anytime soon. But whatever it takes, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go make that thing happen. But unless the Mets win, and again, they'll never be the Yankees. Unless the Clippers win, unless the Mets win, there's still just that, yeah, you got a rich owner, spend a lot of money, but you guys are exactly the same. But when you punch that ticket, and the Mets have... Not
they have won two World Series.
But in 69 and 86, it's been a long time. You're still like, yeah, you're that other guy. And you can the Angels are a perfect example. For a moment, they were never the Dodgers, but for a moment, they were the better team. Like in the early part of the 2000s when they won the World Series, we're going to the ALCS. For 5 years, the Angels were one of the best teams in baseball. And then they weren't. And then it went right back to the way it was, where the Dodgers were the big bad guy on the block with all the fans, and the Angels were the B, who wasn't very good. You got to punch your ticket. But for a minute, they had a chance. The Clippers need to do that. They need to punch the ticket.
That's the best comp that I could give. I think that's an interesting one where you got two owners that came in with all the money in the world in the biggest markets going up against two franchises that are as iconic as it gets.
You got to win. You're always going to have fans, but you're never going to be in the mix. I don't know how to say it other than the Clippers right now are just on the edge of being in the mix. They beat the Lakers in the play-in a little bit better, win a championship a lot better, but you're never going to be
What
the
you
guy.
can't do is you can't be the Clippers and say, you could do this. You could say, yeah, but we've beat you 10 in a row, 9 in a row.
Doesn't matter.
You can't do, yeah, but we got to the playoffs and you didn't.
That
doesn't really mean. But what you can say is, listen, I know you got 17. We got the last one.
We got the most recent one.
Got the last one. We got one before you... more recent than when you got one.
It's like the Rams and the 49ers. The one that matters, they got.
And we beat you head up. We beat you head up, right? If the Clippers, and by the way, the Clippers and Lakers are both in the 7 to 10 spot, right? The Lakers are
right. This is part of kind of the conversation
at the 9, and the Clippers are at the 7 right now, right? So they wouldn't play each other in that first round, but the Clippers lose and the Lakers win. They're playing in a knockout game. A lot of things can happen between then and now, but this is how it starts. And
8-9.
8-9. Okay,
Yeah.
8-9. So same scenario, right? The Clippers would have to lose, the Lakers would have to win for them to play each other in a knockout situation. That's a bad matchup for the Lakers. If everybody's healthy, I still do not like that. That's 10 in a row. The Clippers have beat them 10 times in a row. Lakers are playing a lot better. Clippers are actually playing a lot worse. But sometimes there's just that, finally, these are the guys that we needed to see to kind of get right all of a sudden. And as weird as it sounds, the Lakers are kind of that team for the Clippers right now.
So if the scenario did play out that way, obviously, listen, we're going to have to wait and see what happens to Bron. They still have another matchup against each other. I think April 5th is the last time those two teams will play each other. I'm okay with the matchup. I know what you're saying about, hey, they've lost 9 in a row, whatever it is. We'll see what happens April 5th. So it's 10 right now. So whatever that number is.
10.
I think the difference is, this is a different version of the Lakers team, as it is kind of a different version of the Clippers team. So maybe that game on April 5th will be fascinating because it would be the first time you see two squads. Russ is now on that team. One team has kind of slid, the other team has gone up. But it will come down to, is Bron going to be there, is he not? I mean, right now all we're talking about is getting into the play-in tournament. But if we're actually going to have a real conversation about the Lakers being the top 8 when the dust settles and having a chance in the first round, that's, of course, going to come down to if Bron's there or not.
The best part is the Lakers do not have to squint and come up with some ridiculous series of events that lands them in the 6th spot. They just kind of need to do what they've been doing.
Where that was the case, right? Before the trade deadline or whatever.
Before the trade deadline, and even when LeBron was diagnosed with the tendon injury or went out with the tendon injury, it was, oh boy, something weird's going to have to happen. Well, I swear I don't mean this in a bad way. Something weird has kind of happened. Anthony Davis has been consistently great for the better part of a couple of weeks. And if he continues to be, nothing else really weird needs to just keep doing that. And we'll see whether or not he can. They're the air quote hot team in that group of 5 or 6 teams that's all kind of lumped together. They're the hot one right now. Long way to go.
Yeah.
But they're the hot one right now. Get D'Angelo back sooner than later, maybe by Friday.
I think there's
chance?
I think he's going to go through a workout. Darvin Ham said yes, he'll go through a workout today, tomorrow to determine whether he can go on Friday.
Let's just say by the weekend. So he comes back by the weekend. All of a sudden, you don't need weird stuff. You just need to continue playing well. And maybe all this play-in stuff is null and void. Now you're at the 6 and you're playing. Phoenix would be a bad draw right out of the chute. You don't want that. But maybe
could
Sacramento.
Get Memphis in the first round.
Could be Memphis. Could be Sacramento. Could be Phoenix. 2 of those I think are pretty favorable to you. Phoenix, you don't want Phoenix in the first round.
Yeah, you don't want. And that right now I think that's like all these teams jockeying there. Phoenix is in 4th. Nobody wants to be 5th if they're in 4th. You just don't.
You don't want to play Phoenix at all, and you really don't want to play them in the first round.
What if it's the Warriors in the first round, right? That could happen.
I'd rather play the Warriors than the Phoenix.
Oh, yeah, no, 100%. What I'm saying is that imagine if you're the Golden State Warriors, you're like, okay, we get them first. And by the way, even Phoenix, you're like, I got to get the Warriors in the first round?
I don't think Phoenix is sweating too many people. That looks really good.
It does look good.
It's really sustainable. You know what KD's amazing at? That I think this may be he's got a lot of superpowers, but one of his great superpowers, he can miss a lot of time and just show up and look like he hasn't missed a day.
Effortless.
Yeah. Like
effortless.
Anthony Davis, LeBron James, it's almost like a little bit of an on-ramping process to get them back in, get their minutes up, kind of knock some of the rust. KD could miss a month. He missed a season and came back and looked like he hadn't missed a day. He's something else.
Yep.
He is something else. All right, the inaugural Pickleball Madness Tournament coming up a week from Saturday, March 18th, 10 to 4 at the Mile Square Park in Fountain Valley. Of course, the Agape Pickleball Center. Reserved seating is available. You can register for that at ESPNLA.com. Come on out and hang out with us. We're going to have a great day. It is open to anybody that wants to come. You can bring your kids. There is a kid zone. There is a beer garden. There's complimentary food and drinks. You can watch me and Slee play bad pickleball. Maybe we'll get lucky and advance out of the first round. Who knows? But you got to come out to see it. Thanks to our pals at Michelob Ultra, Bud Light Seltzer, and Pizza Hut. Come see me and Al play bad pickleball, have a few beers, and hang out. I think that's the best pitch, Al.
I'm in because we have to be there, but I'm also in because we'll probably be done by 11 o'clock, and we have 7 hours to chill with everybody.
Let's talk a little bit about the Pau retirement ceremony last night and some of the things that AD was saying about it after. It's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710.
Everybody, it's Cap. Listen, I want you to mark your calendars for March 16th. It's Thursday. It's the tip of the tournament, and we're all going to be at Yamava. Okay, so it's going to be Travis and Slee from 10 to 1. Mason's not going to be on vacation. Mason in Ireland, 1 to 4. Me and Shidano coming up from 4 to 7. There's all these amazing craft beers, incredible restaurants, 150 LED screen TVs. It's the 909, the greatest sports bar on the planet at Yamava, Thursday, March 16th, all day long. Mark your calendars. Be there. I'll see you at Yamava.
Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
Oh, you all right?
Yeah, I'm totally fine. Okay. I'm okay. Yeah. First fall of the day. Oh, it's on camera.
Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
All right, I'm talking to all 710 listeners right now. Let's start off with this. March 18th, it's a Saturday afternoon. Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. That is where I am about to teach everybody a little bit about pickleball. And the reason is because you see my father here is a world champion pickleball player. And while I have never played pickleball, not one time in my entire life, I already got my own racket, which means I'm about to kick some you-know-what. So come on out and support. Be there. We'll all watch college ball games together, and we are going to win.
Sliwa
on 710 ESPN.
The NCAA tournament is 1 week from tomorrow, Slee. Selection Sunday coming up in just a few days, but we will be out Yamava Resort and Casino next to Thursday. That is the 909 Sports Bar for a tournament tip-off watch party. We'll be broadcasting live starting at 10 a.m. Our show will be on. We'll hand it off to Mason and Ireland, Sedano and Cap, 10 a to 7 p on Thursday, March 16th. Come on out, hang out with us, press the flesh. Me and Slee, Mason and Ireland, Sedano and Cap, wall-to-wall LEDs, 150-plus screens, 32 craft beers. It's the perfect place to watch all the college basketball action. Plus, we'll be giving away prizes, autographed memorabilia. Must be 21, and please gamble responsibly.
It'll be a fun day.
I'm looking forward to it.
It'll be a fun day, and it's one of the few times while we're doing our show, there's going to be a lot of action going on. Obviously, the games start at 9 a.m., and the entire time that 710's there, there's games going on all day. That's the beauty of Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that opening 4 days. Anytime you turn on the TV, something's going to be on.
And there's so many games, you're guaranteed that at least...
Some upsets.
Well, not even upsets, but I mean, hopefully some upsets, but just good games.
Yeah.
There will be close games. You're not going to get... Like sometimes, even on an NBA, like Saturday afternoon, where there's basketball, like there's 3 or 4 games on TV, there's a chance all 4 will be dogs, right? That you're not going to get 16 games and have all of them be dogs.
NFL Thursday night games? Wasn't there like a streak of just these unbelievable...
To the point where Al Michaels was like, "Oh, the hate calling the games."
Do you 100% right about that? Do you when the tournament starts, do you kind of start this? Where everybody kind of thinks they know what's going on all of a sudden, where they're talking about, my bracket. Has Arizona lose a game like this, or do you not even try any of that at all? I don't try anything. So that when people, it just kind of becomes a natural conversation. Thursday's the opening day, and then by the time Thursday's, can you believe that North Carolina only won by 7?
Your round of golf, your fantasy football team, your bad poker beats, and how your bracket's doing. These are things I do not care about. Just and your dogs.
I'm watching.
What's that?
Game of Thrones.
But for me, yes, but you need to find the right person for Game of Thrones, and you can talk about it all day. Like, for instance, Al and I, we could talk about a lot of things that we both care about.
Yeah.
But even if you and I, like, we both like to play poker, right? I don't really care about your bad beat. You don't care about mine. Your fantasy football team, even if we both play, it's like, I don't really care about you.
Happens to
I just
everybody.
want to tell my story, right? College basketball brackets are that.
I thought about you yesterday for this exact reason. I'm watching, it's a clip of Step Brothers.
Okay.
And he says, I forget her, what's Will Ferrell's mom in the movie?
Yeah.
She asks Dale, she's like, so what do you do? He goes, I manage a baseball team. And she goes, what do you mean, like Little League? He goes, fantasy. I thought of you for exactly that. Some people are so into it. That's just like the perfect scene. They're all at the dinner table together, whatever it is. But
Mary Steenburgen's good in that movie.
Yeah, she's Nancy.
Yeah,
Nancy. That's who it is.
Nancy.
It's a perfect name, too.
Yeah. The guys knows what they're doing.
Everybody's name.
Powell's number goes up yesterday, number 16, right next to Kobe. Dale and Brennan, right? Dale Doback. It's great. AD was asked, was talking about it, and he said that he told Powell before the game that, I want to be up there at some point in my life, and I think that's what we're all hoping for, right? We all want to see Anthony Davis become a no-brainer in that category because you know it when you see it, right? That you knew that at some point there was never a question if Kobe was going up or Shaq and Magic and Worthy, and you just know, right? But even by the end of Powell's career, you knew Powell was going up there. You knew it. It was an inevitability that he was going to go up. You and I both know LeBron James's number is going to hang up.
Of course it will.
It absolutely will. Anthony Davis at this point I think is likely to have his number up there, but it's not a slam dunk. And I think that's what we're waiting to hear, right? That we're waiting to where it's not even a point of conversation. And when he was talking about it, I want to be up there one day as well. I want to be in that category, that group. Play like he's played the last couple of weeks and, play like that for a season or so, we are in no-brainer territory. It's not an ability thing, it's an availability thing, and we're kind of getting a little glimpse of it.
So I like the not shying away from it. I like I want to be up there. How cool is that? I mean, can you think? There's only 12 players that are up there now, including Pau. Listen, as much as Anthony Davis wants to be up there, every Laker fan wants him up there like no tomorrow. I mean, we talk about Anthony Davis. He comes up so much in conversations, and the question, unfortunately, a lot of the times with Anthony Davis is Is he available? Is he not available? Is he 100%? Is he not 100%? If he goes down on the ground, is it a bad injury? Are we going to lose him for a couple of weeks? And what you want that conversation to be, because this is the conversation with LeBron James. I know Bron's a different one. Or actually, there's a better comp. Pau is a better comp. Pau came to the Lakers in 2008. He was traded to the Lakers. The Lakers went to 3 NBA Finals in a row. Okay, and I'm not telling you that
almost right away too.
Right away,
Yeah.
Literally 2008 they lost to the Boston Celtics. 2009 they beat the Orlando Magic. 2010 they beat the Boston Celtics. Instantly it was you're cashing in and you're getting to the NBA Finals. At worst you got a deep run in the playoffs and you lose, whatever the case is. AD came to the Lakers. Instantly you got to the NBA Finals. You won an NBA championship. And what you thought would be similar to what was happening with Pau and Kobe, it was like, well, next year, explain to me why they're not in the Western Conference Finals.
Mm-hmm.
Explain to me how they're not one of the 2-3 teams in the West that they're going to be back there. Instead, Trav, it's been a complete opposite since the NBA Finals. So as bad as AD wants to be up there one day in the rafters, every Lakers fan is also rooting for the same thing, because every Laker fan, I don't want to say the franchise sold you on this. I think we sold ourselves. Hey, AD's the next guy.
Yeah.
So I think I love what he's saying, but at the same time, what he's saying, every Laker fan's looking at it the same way.
You said something that I think is so spot on, and Emily asked me something this morning, like when are you going to be convinced that AD is what we've been talking about for the last 5 minutes? And you just said it in your answer, and that's the answer I gave her. When I see him fall and I'm not worried. That's when I'll start to feel like that again. When I see him fall to the ground, which happens to everybody, guys get knocked down,
and you don't think about,
and I don't think, is he getting? Okay, good, he's up. When it's just when Jared Vanderbilt falls to the ground, I don't worry if he's getting up. Mm-hmm. When Austin Reeves gets knocked to the ground, I don't worry about him getting up. LeBron James, maybe a little more now than in the past, but for
naturally,
the better part
20
of
years
17
in.
of
Yeah.
18 years, LeBron got knocked down. He was basically Superman. He bounced right back up, and he'd go and he'd shoot his free throws or whatever it would be. With Anthony Davis, you hold your breath. And until we're done with that portion of his Laker career, I don't know if he can be that guy, right? It's not, is he good enough? He clearly is. It's not, has he won a championship? He already has. It's All-Star games, all those things, stats. We're done. It's, can we just know that, yeah, I'm not worried if he's going to be here night to night, week to week, month to month, season to season. And that the only thing that changes that is time. That's it. It's just, I just, the only thing that will change my mind is if he got to the end of the postseason, right? Whenever that might be. It may be in a month. It may be in 2.5 months. Who knows, right? Mm-hmm. If we go through that and he's available and we're not talking about, is he going to rest here? Is he going to do this? Or he's got a little nagging knee or back or pinky or gets smacked in the face, kind of a bad example. But are we just done with that? Then we can start having the conversation about the number. Then we can start having the conversation is, can he be the best player on the championship team?
So everything you said is fair. Like, I don't know how people can kind of argue that. What I would argue is this. I haven't, and I've kind of said this since Braun went out. I'm not questioning whether AD can get the numbers. I think the numbers are going to be there.
Is anybody?
I think some people are saying, and we'll go back to this. Can he carry the Lakers right now to try to get a playoff spot? I think there's some question marks there. I think some people are saying, I don't know, can he? Because he's been doing it with LeBron James. Can he do it without LeBron? I know when Bron's on the floor and AD's not, Bron can still carry the team. I don't know if AD can carry the team if Bron's not on the floor.
He has the last couple weeks.
So that's kind of the point, since the injury. But I never questioned the stats about Anthony Davis. I question, is AD going to be able to be there for a long stretch of time? And a long stretch of time is not 2 weeks.
No.
Long stretch of time is not 30 days. A long stretch of time is not 2 months. No. A long stretch of time would technically be what you just said. Bron got injured. AD basically played in 85-90% of the games, and he went all the way through however far the Lakers go. I don't know if you're ever going to get that feeling out when you say AD's on the floor. Oh my gosh, is something wrong? Is something not? I don't know if that's going to go away, or put it this way, it's going to take a long time for it to get there.
It's fast forward to March 8th, 2024, a year from now. If he hasn't missed time other than the regular amount of time that people that lose, okay, then I think we're kind of through it, right? Like Steph Curry When he came into the league, he had the foot thing, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's that foot." It's
bad
that foot.
ankle issues.
And all of a sudden, he had a little bit of this, and we're like,
Embiid.
Embiid is a great example. We don't think about Embiid like that anymore. We know that Embiid is going to be out there, and Embiid's going to go and play hard and play every night virtually. That you can rewrite the story. He's just starting to rewrite it. Like, we're literally in the first chapter of the rewrite. Hopefully we get to chapter 2. The playoffs would be chapter 3.
Yeah.
The beginning of next season would be chapter 4. But it's a 10-chapter book. You got to kind of get through enough of it before, because even if early next season it's like, oh my gosh, it happened again. We need an extended period of time where we're not having that conversation.
I will tell you this, and this falls into the AD front. 2 weeks ago, when we found out, I think it was maybe a little less than 2 weeks ago, we found out about Braun and the severity of his injury. It's going to take at least 3 weeks. I didn't think we'd be having this conversation today of, wow, the Lakers are still winning games. They're actually playing better. AD's got a lot to do with that. It's the first time, and I know this is not ideal for Laker fans, it's the first time there's actually some real excitement around Lakers basketball, and that's not to say that 9th is the goal, but I'm not kidding. There was a buzz yesterday, and we'll see what happens over the weekend. Lakers basketball, at least there's something to play for right now.
The Dump coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
All right, I'm talking to all 710 listeners right now. Let's start off with this. March 18th, it's a Saturday afternoon. Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. That is where I am about to teach everybody a little bit about pickleball. And the reason is because you see my father here is a world champion pickleball player. And while I have never played pickleball, not one time in my entire life, I already got my own racket, which means I'm about to kick some you-know-what. So come on out and support. Be there. We'll all watch college ball games together, and we are going to win.
All right. I knew this was coming. It was just a matter of I'm not going to lie, Clinton. I thought that this may be a phone call that got sent to the program yesterday.
I needed to look you in the face.
Yes,
I will
go ahead.
repeat what was said when I was sitting right here in this seat. Now, I wasn't sitting here. Maybe I was on the phone. He said, Alan, must be nice to invite people to things that they're going to show up to. Now,
had to change of plans, Hal.
Little change of plans. Now, shall I? Let's revisit all of the mess that I took.
Uh-huh.
Let me go to my text, Al. I got a text yesterday from one Mr. Sliwa.
Yep.
And here's what it said. Hold on. Please, filibuster.
Well, listen, Trav, I will say this. Said, Al, I got to kind of walk you through a situation, and you tell me what you want me to do on Thursday.
Oh, okay. So you gave him an out, basically.
No,
well, he just said, here's the predicament, here's the situation, and his son had his game moved from Friday to Thursday. I can't do anything
excuse.
there. I can't do anything
I
there.
was ridiculed. I was bamboozled. I was dragged through the mud at this station for skipping one practice, and here it says, hey, Trav has to be at his son's baseball game on Thursday.
So,
would you want to join and be the fourth?
Oh, when I sent that too,
I was just hanging around.
When I sent that too, I was in my head. I'm like, Yates is probably like how the tables have turned.
Exactly. I was planning on crashing the practice anyway.
This is
just
why.
To make a point.
This is why it's not apples to apples. This is apples to
Mason?
tow trucks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once again,
I'm not going to play pickleball with someone else in lieu of playing with my good friend Al.
Almost worse. You're not even going to practice pickleball.
First and foremost,
You're
I'm a
going to
family
do something
man.
you've done 100 times.
I am a family man. I like to consider myself an attentive father. and I want to participate in these baseball games as often as I can because they're very limited time before they go away forever. So I like to seize the moment.
Real talk, Travis literally does text me clips of his son playing baseball offline. Like, that's a real thing that happens in this relationship.
I got a new one for you.
I just want you to know, though, the best ability, availability.
Yeah.
Turns out your boy's available. So enough of that.
Well,
enough of that.
I did
That is
help.
over.
I did
Chapter
help
closed.
myself out because the day before, I shot Yates a call and said, "Hey, we got 4 already, but if you want to come out, come out."
Yes.
So it all kind of worked out because if I was like, "Hey, Clint,"
the universe knows.
Clint, ain't happening, buddy. If I was doing one of those,
Right.
and then I'm calling Clint the next day and saying, "Hey, man, just wanted to tell you, you look great today on TV."
That's when I show up to the court
I would have
with
given
eggs and
that
a
call.
bucket of
Like,
water.
no, you're not. Can't come out and play pickleball with us. Get lost.
Just saying. The tables have turned. Just wanted to make
Tables
sure
turned.
that I could see you with my face and say that.
I'm
Travis.
pretty excited about those real stirrups, Yates. I'm not
Oh,
gonna
yo.
lie.
By the way, so all Travis and I talk about outside of this station is basically high school and college baseball. That's it.
Gauchos beat Pepperdine 11-1
That's it.
yesterday.
Saw that. And
That's a great connection between the
oh
two
yeah,
of you.
that's what we do. By the way, did you watch? I guess you probably didn't watch World Baseball Classic because you had to be up for this. Watched a little of it last night.
By the way, I'm 100% in.
I like it. It's kind of a weird format baseball tournament, which is the appeal. It's
Yeah.
not like you're going rah crazy.
But
oh
they
my
got
God.
the right guys
They got
in
the
it.
right guys, and these.
That's a
teams,
draw. That's definitely a
For
draw
sure.
right there.
These teams are kind of legit now. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like, it's not like you've got 2 squads and everybody else is fielding, bus drivers and high school history students, which, by the way, the Czech Republic is, which is kind of cool. But it's a fun tournament. There's a couple of good games. I mean, a good game last night.
How about this? This is the DR team in the outfield.
yeah.
You have
Yeah.
Juan Soto, Julio Rodriguez, Teoscar Hernandez, and Eloy Jimenez. Those are really good major league players.
Absolutely.
Right? In the infield, you have Jeremy Pena, Manny Machado, Wander Franco, Rafael
Jeez.
Devers, Willie Adames. I mean, these are legit guys. The Americans have Will Smith, Mookie Betts, Trey Turner, Mike Trout. Like, these are
Yeah.
the right guys.
Yeah, it should be fun. It's a different brand of baseball.
So do people? How does Major League Baseball? I guess you can. There's nothing you can really do about the timing of it, right? Because the timing's
No.
not perfect.
There's no good place to put
There's
it.
humans
That's the
that
problem.
believe that you should stop in the middle of the season and
Not
put it
a
around the
chance.
All-Star game. I don't agree with that.
Not a
That's
chance.
not necessary. I also don't think the goal of World Baseball Classic should be to get to something that is like
Like the World Cup?
yeah, that's not a realistic goal in this lifetime.
No.
This should be a showcase tournament for players who want to do it, and that'll probably get you the best result.
It could be super offensive too, because the 1 week link on even these really good teams like the DR and the American team, and a little bit less with the Japanese team because they have Otani. The pitching, the best pitchers are not there.
And there's pitch counts as well. That affects things a lot too.
It could be highly offensive, which might be fun.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting thing. Couple fun stories out of there. Cuba finally letting their big leaguers play on their team after they've gone to the big leagues. Panama's first time.
I thought you were going to talk about Hornman from Cuba.
Hornman, by the way, is fantastic. That dude lives in Houston, as it turns out, but he goes to every single Cuban international sporting event and blows the horn.
You
like
guys
a
are kind of selling me a little bit.
Are
on
you
this.
familiar with Hornman, Slee?
No.
And he draws a leadoff walk. Can you hear that?
Oh yeah.
You've been to a Winter League game. You watched a Winter League game. It sounds like that pretty much every time.
The
Cuba's
whole
playing.
game.
Yeah.
It's like the Vandy Whistler.
Yeah, the Vandy Whistler, by the way. That guy.
The
Vandy
whole damn
The Vandy
game.
Whistler's a whole other dude. Do you know that he has like a fully tricked out like car, like van, that's like got his whole insignia on it and like bells and whistles on it? Oh yeah, the Vandy Whistler lives.
Sounds
that
like a
life.
lifestyle.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a lifestyle.
Anyway,
that guy.
World Baseball
is
Classic,
not
fun
my
times.
guy.
Fun times.
Anything else that you would like to make fun of me for?
No, not at all. See, once again, I'm never making fun of anybody.
Yeah, no,
you're just
you're
reaping what you sow.
You know what
sir.
this is? This is
That's all that's happening.
I don't like that. This is you attacking me for being a good father. That's all I'm
right,
hearing.
That's what we're doing. Okay,
That's the
great.
card.
Yeah,
if there's any
exactly.
card to
That's a
play,
good- that's a good card.
That's what I'm
that's
hearing.
a card to play. Because now listeners are like, that Yates, man. What an a-hole.
He's gonna send me 5 videos of his kid striking out, and I'm gonna be like, "Oh man, he's got to get over on his front side a little more."
He got a knock
Can't
the other
attack
day.
the slider the same
He
way.
got
no.
a knock the other day. It's very exciting. We've turned the corner. A lot of things are happening.
All right,
Miguel
tomorrow we're
Vargas.
going to make it happen.
Yeah, I'll
Tomorrow
be
we'll
there.
make it happen.
I will be there.
Miguel Vargas is going to do the thing in baseball that's fairly important. He's going to swing a bat. That he has been playing in spring training games, but has not been cleared to swing a bat. But when he gets back on the field, probably tomorrow, he's got a green light to actually turn it loose. Which
Did
is
he ever
exciting.
kind of like pretend like he was going to swing? Like,
It's funny. We were watching the game the
Ah!
other day. I get it. The pitchers are pitching them because the pitchers are trying to get work in too. So they're not just going to throw BP fastballs down the middle. Until the other day against the Padres, the Padre pitcher was in a little bit of hot water, and Vargas's spot came up, and he literally threw 3 batting practice fastballs over
straight
the
at him. He's like, he can't do anything.
He can't swing it. And then the next guy split the gap, and it didn't matter anyway. But Miguel Vargas is going to be able to swing the bat again. J.J. Watt had something that I thought was really interesting. Basically, every team that needed a quarterback in football yesterday, Atlanta, Charlotte, or Carolina, D.C., Miami, the Raiders. These are all teams that are in the market for a quarterback. Miami maybe a little bit less so with Tua, but health considerations obviously could change that. They all went out of their way to say, we don't want Lamar Jackson. It's weird, man.
We just talked about this.
That's weird.
And on TV, and I don't actually think it's that weird.
Why?
It was a long time ago when he got that MVP. It was pre-COVID. It was many years ago in a football life sense. He's 1-3 in the playoffs. These teams need quarterbacks, but not at that price. This is an understandable football decision, even if I don't agree with it.
But just real quick, real quick on that, Yates. There's enough teams out there where you would think 1 or 2 would say, guys, let's at least kind of look into this.
Better than Taylor Heineke.
That happens all the time in the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball. Somebody overpays somebody.
He wants Deshaun money. Nobody's getting Deshaun money.
But for me, I'm going to split the hair a tad. I think that being out on him because you think it's a bad fit is a different conversation than a quarter of the league just saying, nope, we're good.
And they need a quarterback.
That's peculiar.
I think if you add the two things together, though, the most cynical view of Lamar Jackson's career, which is not a view that I hold, is that his best days are behind him and that he didn't even win when he was the best player he's been. That's the cynical view. If you're going to throw $250 million guaranteed dollars at somebody, you can say, well, the guy who's won 2 in the time that he didn't win any is the guy that got less money than him. I can understand it.
I believe that Netflix has a quasi-documentary coming out about this next one. It was today in 2014, March 8th, 2014, that Malaysian Airlines flight MH370 just disappeared. Just gone. And they found a few pieces of wreckage here and there across the world, mostly in Eastern Africa is where a lot of this stuff has washed up on shores. But nobody knows exactly what, where, how, who, why. A lot of theories. Netflix is going to have a doc coming out trying to figure out exactly what happened with it. That is still, even though, 2014, 9 years ago, that's no explanation. In the world we live in right now, with all the tracking and all the things that we pay attention to, that a plane just disappeared?
No chance I'm watching that.
You're not watching that.
I fly too many planes to watch that and go to sleep at night. Straight up. You know what I'm saying? I don't need any more details on disappearing planes.
Well, that's when you know.
On Saturday.
That's when you know. Right when you just said Malaysia Airlines. It's like, oh no, I know it is. And the details were already. You're looking back, and I remember all the coverage on it. Hey, could that be a part? Oh no, it wasn't part of the plane. They would just kind of the search, I guess you can call it. That many years later, and I'm sure that much more research and everything else to still not have.
They don't know if it was the pilot did it. They don't know if it was hijacked. They don't know if it was a technical or a mechanical error.
No, thanks.
Just kind of poof,
That's
gone.
not for me.
Unfortunately, accidents happen, but we don't even know if it was an accident. It's pretty weird.
Would you watch
remember that? Are you in for the Malaysian Air Flight documentary on Netflix?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, their documentaries are great, all of them.
John's on planes,
I'm on planes
yeah.
So I'm bringing it on.
Cargo's a little bit more precious when you're on the plane.
Any speculation on what you guys think happened? Because it seems to me the most what's that? It's Occam's razor, right? The most logical explanation is probably the right one. The pilot decided he was going to take it out,
or I'll say medical emergency.
But
I'll clear my own conscience.
Where's the plane?
Medical emergency.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. So it probably didn't go into the water and sink to the bottom, right?
Maybe
it disintegrated.
They think that on impact, that the pilot set it on this course. He disabled the oxygen, right? And so everybody basically suffocated on the plane. He started flying more or less toward the South Pole. It runs out of gas somewhere over the Indian Ocean, and when it hits, it shatters into a million pieces.
You know who I blame? Russell Westbrook. Isn't everything his fault?
Oh, man. That's so... go ahead.
No, I was going to If this is
I
about
think
Malaysian
that what
Airlines, I wanna
happened
hear
is
it.
this thing went underwater, and the waves and the depths of the ocean, of which we know very little about, swallowed that plane.
It was either Russell Westbrook or Frank McCourt. One of those two people are
Those are good scapegoats.
This missing
Always
plane.
Wonder
good
if that will be
scapegoats.
on the Netflix
special.
With Russ in mind, let's go to Super Crosstalk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins.
Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
Woo, 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 woo. Momo today, John?
Yeah, Ramona's going to be late to her own funeral, so she'll be in here shortly.
All right.
And she'll be eating and talking. She'll have a phone in her left hand
Yep.
and some type of food in her right
A
hand.
coffee,
Breaking
too, or
news
tea.
for ESPN.
Clinton or Taylor will open the door for her, and she'll sit down and she'll say, "How's it going?" And she'll have no idea that she's 10 minutes late. Yeah, that's Momo.
I want to be able to have that gear. I start, if I'm not 10 minutes early, I start freaking out that I'm
Me
going to
too.
be 30 seconds late. I can't do it.
What did you tell that story one time where Kirk thought the pregame? Kirk's always early.
Kirk is never
So,
late.
by the way,
he's never late. Yeah.
Same with Michael Thompson. Never late. Ever.
Kirk and I have been doing Rams pregame for all 7 seasons the Rams have been back.
Yeah.
He has literally never been late, but he also shows up about 3 minutes before we hit the air, but never late. So
Times
I've
it
learned
perfectly.
over 7 years to not sweat it, right?
Yeah.
So this most recent, I think it was the Raider game, actually, the show starts and he's not there. And I text him like, yo, where are you? He's like, we start at 3:30, right? I'm like, no, we start at 3. He had the time wrong. So
did he make it?
Not in time.
Oh, wow.
He missed a good 15 or 20 minutes, and I knew it bothered him as much as it would bother the three of us because we're all pretty punctual. I want to go back to something you said about Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
As currently constructed right now, obviously there's a lot of basketball left. Clippers are in this 8. Lakers are in the 9.
I know. I was looking at this today.
So you know where I'm going
How
with this.
great would it be?
Right?
All right, so here's what I was thinking. The Clippers own the Lakers.
10 in a row.
And 45 out of 50, I think. I mean, it's
Oh
some
my
insane number like that.
Is that an exaggeration or is it really?
I don't think so. Look
Okay.
it up.
The Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, those years they
look up
dominated.
45 out of
just
50.
Slee, type into a Google search Clippers Lakers last 50 games. I think it's 45 and
Holy
45.
smoke.
I mean, they've just owned the Lakers
Yeah.
Since Chris Paul and Blake Griffin got there. But everybody thinks that when the chips are down, it's like the Niners and the Rams.
Yeah.
The Niners have beat the Rams 7 times in a row. And then they meet in the NFC Championship game, and the Niners wet the bed. If the Clippers were to lose to the Lakers in a one-game playoff, they would have Steve Ballmer would have to take those billions and hire a truck of psychiatrists to get that through that. Can you imagine? They have dominated a team. You cannot dominate a team more than they have.
Well, that's what we were talking about. So I wonder if it's.
And by the way, if they meet, I'm picking the Lakers.
Well, that's where I was going. The Lakers and the Laker brand and what it means. And by the way, this team, under this scenario, would have Anthony Davis playing very, very well.
Right.
The supporting cast
Maybe LeBron
playing well.
back, you
Maybe
never know.
LeBron back. So let's just put everybody has everybody.
Okay.
Lakers are at full strength. The Clippers are at full strength.
Okay.
Is it a no-brainer to pick the Lakers?
No, it's not a no-brainer. The Lakers are a different team than they were those last 10 times they've lost to
31 and
them.
7 over that stretch
Right,
since
so-
2013.
All right, so 30. That it's that bad, you
Okay.
know. And so the Lakers are a different team now. So are the Clippers in a lot of ways. But so I think you almost have to throw those records out. I just think that if the Clippers have dominated the Lakers in every conceivable way for 10 years.
Mhm.
So what would you say, since 2013?
It's 2013.
Yeah, so
Beginning of
literally-
that 2013
Literally
season.
10 years.
Mhm.
And if the Lakers got them in the playoffs, because they've never met in the playoffs, ever.
No.
In the history of the
Does
two
this count? 'Cause it's
franchises.
technically not
One-game
the
playoff.
playoffs.
Of course it counts. Play in is a playoff. Let's go. And they did. By the way, speaking of the Clippers, I was thinking about something. When Ramona gets here, she can comment on this more than I can because she talks to more people at the Clippers than I do. But the general consensus of media who cover the Clippers, anybody who's in the league would tell you, Paul George and Kawhi do whatever they want. All right? They tell you when they're going to play. They tell you when they're not going to play. If they're injured, they'll tell you when they're coming back. It's not a collaborative thing. It's Kawhi will tell you when he's ready, and Kawhi will tell you when he wants to play, blah, blah, blah.
Paul George, too.
Yeah, both of them.
Okay.
And if you talk to people who have left that team, who were on it and left,
well,
they will
the
tell you
speculation was that one of the reasons that Doc and the Clippers kind of they were at odds over that dynamic.
Right, and I heard that Ty Lue manages it. Like Ty is one of the best coaches in the NBA. He'll say, "Okay, so I've got to work around that," and then he does his thing, and he's able. They put together a pretty good team. But there's very few things that I would pay to be a fly on the wall. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when somebody, I don't know who it was, had to go to Paul George and Kawhi Leonard and tell them, hey, tomorrow at 10, I need you at the Intuit Dome to hear Ballmer talk about
the bathrooms.
toilets, and you got to wear this hard hat. All right? So, I'll see you there. I'll see you there at 10 o'clock. You just stand behind Ballmer and let him talk about toilets.
Did you
Kawhi was there at
8:30. Like Kawhi is standing directly behind Ballmer, and there's a still photo that's out there, and it's got that classic Kawhi smile, that weird kind of like what am I doing here kind of smile. It's pretty great.
Yeah, somebody either paid those guys to show up or told them there was an exchange of something there. Hey, you do this, and we'll send you a car. We'll pay a stipend or something, but. There's almost no way.
All right, a little bit of breaking news here, guys. This just came in. This is from Shams Charania, who tweeted, this just in, Glendale, Colorado police have closed their investigation into Grizzlies star Ja Morant with no charge or crime. Quote, there was not enough available evidence to charge anyone with a crime.
Well, that was never going to be his problem. His problem is going to be with the NBA. Which is why I disagree with you two guys, and maybe you guys have changed your position. But when we talked about, you think he'll be back Monday?
I think that he's going to be back much sooner than later.
Okay.
I would not be surprised if he's back next week.
I think the opposite. I think he will not play a game this month. But and then what's today? The 8th?
Yeah.
So basically, 30 days left for the season end.
Yeah, I think they need to make a loud statement. Now, David Stern, when he was the commissioner, if you had a gun-related incident, he threw the book at you.
Yep.
Adam Silver has never punished a player for a gun-related incident. Now, when Javaris Crittenton and Gilbert Arenas got into it, and Arenas brought a gun into the locker room, he suspended Crittenton for the rest of the season. Turned out to be 38 games. He never played in another NBA game after that. And he suspended Arenas for 50. And Arenas, there's a clip running around on the internet where Arenas is doing a podcast, and he said that David Stern basically called him in and told him, you're going to take this 50-game suspension, or I'm coming after your contract. He said, if you're working for us, if you're working for the league, we can't have we're a corporate entity. We can't have gun-related anything.
If this were David Stern at the helm, I would not have the opinion that I have. I think that Adam Silver is far more collaborative, to use the kind word.
He's a players commissioner.
Yeah. And I think that the sooner he's back, the sooner it goes away. The sooner they can look. We've looked into it. We've decided that we've talked to him. We've worked with him, all the language that comes along with it, and they put him back out. Then it's not every time they play. The story isn't Ja Morant isn't here, the Grizzlies are sinking in the standings, et cetera, et cetera. He's just back out there.
I think the hole in that is if they find evidence that Ja Morant, and maybe this is how it goes away, this is how it doesn't go away. If they find out Ja Morant actually had a firearm on the plane or in the locker room or something along those lines,
now you're going down the right road.
Then there's no way he doesn't serve 50 games.
No, I don't know if it'll be 50.
Well, 50 is exactly what you said about Mark Stein. Mark Stein had it in.
But there is no there. I looked this up today. There is no automatic anything.
Okay, got it.
I think Mark said that in a podcast. He's since gone back and corrected it. There's no automatic number. But you're barking up the right tree. How did that gun get from Memphis to Denver? And I also assume it got from Denver to L.A. because he flew with the team here, and then the video showed up.
But isn't it in the league's best interest, guys, to not prove that?
If they don't have evidence, if they don't have evidence, you're not wrong. You're not wrong on that.
Really aggressively look for it.
The police, the police in Colorado have closed the investigation, but I'm sure the NBA hasn't. And here's the other thing: every team in the NBA has a staff of security guys that know everything. These guys know where, and by the way, they know all the police in all these towns, and they know everything. And they tell these players left, right, and sideways, if you go out, take one of us with you.
Yeah.
You know, that's why we're here. You know, if you're going out to a club, take one of us. We'll stop problems before they happen. I don't know if Ja did that. I don't know if there was any of the Memphis security people there, but I guarantee you the Memphis security people know what happened.
All right, let me change subjects here a little bit. Maybe John needs a big brother, like our listeners have big brothers. We were talking today, John, about fighting with your siblings.
Okay.
Like Bergman told a story about his older brother giving him a typewriter.
Pretty hilarious.
Do you know what that is? Because it's unbelievably awesome.
No.
He would sit on his chest.
Okay.
He'd have both knees pinned.
Pinning his arms.
Yeah.
And basically type with his fingers on his chest and then smack him on the head, go ding, like he's hitting the return on a typewriter.
That is spectacular.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, by the way, Greg, if your brother did that to you today, he would be canceled. Greg would file a restraining order against him.
So
it
we were talking about
it would be a major viral incident.
Pretty funny.
All these things. I used to fight with my brother all the time. I'm the older brother. I
me
have
too.
a brother that's 2 years younger than I am. And I used to pick on him and do all these. I didn't do the typewriter, but I did other terrible things until he smacked me one time, and that was the end.
And that was the end.
That was it.
Did you guys, when you guys were growing up, are you familiar with an atomic sit-up?
Yes.
Do you know what an atomic sit-up is?
The most popular move in a Major League Baseball clubhouse.
Emily, do you know what an atomic sit-up is?
I do not.
Okay, so this is a big thing when I was in a fraternity in college. So you'll be walking down the hallway, and they'll always pick out a victim. It's somebody new who's never seen this happen before, and we would do it to somebody every year. So they would say, like, hey, Sliwa's coming up the stairs. And Sliwa would be like a pledge, somebody new in the fraternity. And they would go, atomic sit-up. So we'd get like 10 guys in a room. And I would be down on the ground doing, like trying to do a sit-up.
Crunches.
And you would walk by, you go, what's going on? And he goes, Ireland thinks he can do an atomic sit-up. And you would say, what's that? He goes, it's an equilibrium thing. If you get down on each side, if you get a guy on each side, and they yell as loud as they can in Ireland's ears, he won't be able to do the sit-up. You can't. It messes with your equilibrium. So I'm down on the ground in sit-up position. I do a regular sit-up. I go, okay, I'm good. 2 friends of mine, one in each ear, screaming as loud as they can. Ah! And I'm can't do it. And you're like, that's impossible. I can't. And I'd go, Slee, it's real. You got to try it. So you would get down and do it. I go, close your eyes. It'll help. So you close your eyes. I go, do a regular sit-up. And you do the regular sit-up. And then I go, okay, you ready? And you say, yeah. I go, okay, close your eyes. And you're gonna have to put a little more effort into it. But just pop up as fast as you can as soon as you hear the yelling. So you get down, you close your eyes, you're in sit-up position. 2 guys start yelling at you.
I think I know where this goes.
In the meantime, when your eyes are closed, somebody drops their pants and squats over you, and you slam your face right into their naked bottom. And that's an atomic sit-up, and everybody laughs hysterically. And you're like, I can't believe I just fell for that. That's what the typewriter reminded me of.
That is the move of every rookie in every major league club. It happens over and over.
That's a
and over
perfect
again.
setup.
It is. Did you torment your brother?
No, but it was weird because my brother and I were 4 grades apart, so we spent very little time together in school. Like when I was a senior, he was a freshman, but that was it. And so I didn't give him too hard of a time. My friends kind of looked out for him, so he got off easy.
We had some interesting stories from some callers.
We had people going through drywall. We had assaults in the hallway. We had
Basically,
one guy whose brother kicked his sister in the stomach just because she was standing there in his way. All sorts of fun
guy
stuff.
does that today. He's canceled. By the way, I knew you guys got here, but Sleet, I've been going to Laker games for 25 years. That game last night was one of my top 5 favorite games of all time.
I'm with you.
Really?
I told
time.
I told Trav in the break.
Really?
I told Trav in the break.
It was so incredibly cool.
The vibe was awesome. Pau was amazing.
He was
They actually won the game in a game where they went over to 9th place. There was a great vibe yesterday. I know that sounds crazy to say, but I'm with you.
Yeah. So first of all, you walk in, and every seat is covered in a Gasol jersey.
Uh-huh.
All right. So there's this mood of, okay, we're like at a wedding.
Sure.
We're here to honor this guy. And Gasol walks in holding his daughter, Elizabeth, who's not even 2. By the way, Elizabeth Gianna Gasol, middle name named after Gigi. And he's holding his daughter, and the game starts. And they start playing these videos at every timeout of all the stuff Gasol did when he was on the Lakers, of when he got here. There was an interview they played that I did with him, like, are you having as much fun as it looks?
Mm-hmm.
You know, blah, blah, blah. He's like, this is awesome. He goes, can't wait to see where it goes, blah, blah, blah. And when the videos are over, he's in tears.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, how is this dude going to make it through halftime? He's a mess now.
And everybody's reaction. So, like,
Yeah.
when he stood up and he's in tears and he's kind of holding his heart and he's waving to the crowd, and everybody's just kind of standing up, giving love to who the hell doesn't love Pau Gasol? Like, it
Yeah.
was just,
And
that's the
then
vibe that you felt.
There was this, they start the halftime ceremony, and Vanessa Bryant comes on the screen. And by the way, I'm going to play all this stuff at 2 o'clock. I'm going to play Vanessa, Kobe, and Pau at 2 o'clock. But Vanessa says, congratulations. They're very close. She says, congratulations. I'm so sad Kobe's not here, but he knew this day would come. Take a look at this. And she throws to this video.
Yep.
And somebody found Kobe at a dinner
Mm-hmm.
like 10 years ago, and they asked him, hey, you think Pau Gasol ever gets his number retired? And Kobe goes, are you kidding? Of course. He goes, I can't wait to be there. We're all going to be in Staples Center, and we're all going to be honoring him, and I'm going to be the first one in line, and it's going to be great. And so that now all of a sudden, so this voice from beyond has taken you to the moment where you are, and Pau gets out there, and I looked at Mike like, he's not going to make it through. And he goes 6 minutes, and it's just
Perfect.
awesome.
Yeah.
And then the Lakers, who were down by 1, come out and play great in the second half, and he's sitting there watching. It was, Travis, I am so glad I was there. Slee, I'm sure you feel the same way. I rank it right up there with Kobe's 60-point game, some of the title games I went to. It was nobody does ceremony like the Lakers. And last night they knocked it out of the park. It was great.
And 16 goes right next to number 24.
Right.
And
I used your line, and I gave you credit. No, it was Andy Kamenetsky's line that I thought was great. 16, right in the middle of 8 and 24.
There you go.
Think about it.
Jeez.
8 plus 8 is 16, plus 8 is 24, and now they're up on the wall together. Oh, it's big-time makeup, Ramona.
TV
I
Ramona.
got
Good.
lashes.
You look good.
TV
Lashes.
Ramona is in the
TV.
house. She's here for Mason and Island. Super Crosstalks powered by In-N-Out Burger. That's what a hamburger's